Is that working? Yes, it is. I've seen the green flashing light.
Hang on, guys, we've got to off. I'll check the mic.
Oh, shit. Oh, jizz-hungry tit slut.
It's on.
Don't call restart.
Also, now it's a red light.
Same difference.
No, don't ever drive. Carl, you need to learn the difference before you
This is
start
why
driving.
you don't drive. This is why we should never give you a car.
This is for the blooper reel.
Yeah, and that's why I'm being trained to be the second driver for Anime
Mate,
Amigos.
our entire videos are just blooper reels.
Hello everyone, welcome to Anime Amigos. I'm Calvin Atkinson and clearly I shouldn't drive.
Or just be in charge of anything.
Yes.
And he's...
I'm Reese Gundam Guru.
I'm Ran the JoJo Genius.
I made it to Vanguard Vagrant and oh, that's weird. Oh god, Elon Musk, has Elon Musk snuck into my room and injected Neuralink again? For the love of God, dude, why would you do... What was that?
I've always wanted to do this.
What's going... What to do? What?
Up, down, A, B.
What's going on?
Us! What? I've always wanted to do that to him.
No controlling him. That's my mistake.
For crying out loud. The last I told you, stop putting electric shit in me.
Stop falling asleep on the way here and I won't do it.
How? You're here before me! I'm in Ren's car!
This is a long-term plan in the making.
Oh damn, he took it out. Anyway,
Cyberpunk is now. Anyway.
Speaking of which, since I've got a GameCube controller, we're all talking video game anime.
Yay!
So this is not like a usual thing we do where we each bring an example. It's more, we're going to look for like several genres and come up with the best and worst. We felt now is a good time to do it because of the release of both Devil May Cry and Guilty Gear getting their anime this season. We're not going to touch too much on those because obviously they're going to play a factor in our seasonal roundup in June.
Well, Devil May Cry anime.
Yeah. Well, Castlevania is going to come up in the conversation in this thing, but I sort of thought where to start with this one, and the one I thought in my head was platformers. There's not many platformers that get anime.
Well, I would think Pokemon would probably be like.
That's not a platformer.
No, but I mean, like, as far as like video games.
Didn't Mega Man get one?
Mega Man got one.
No, Mega Man got several. Yeah. It has the infamous one that we grew up with in the West, but there was also two Japanese exclusive ones for Battle Network and Star Force.
Yeah, the Battle Network did come over here. Mm-hmm. It was on 4Kids or Jetix or whatever.
But the Mega Man anime or cartoon we're known with over here with the meme with Pharaoh Manga is Soccer Punch Mega Man. That wasn't created in Japan.
Two I found that really were good. Well, not good, but the two I found that were okay were Sonic X and Kirby Right Back at You.
Are you not going to mention Sonic Underground, Carl?
That's not an anime.
It's good though.
Sonic Underground.
The only good thing that came out of that was the only good thing that came out of that was the opening theme.
True.
That was it.
Yeah, but Pulse Sonic Underground. All these years later, it's still cancelled and I've got an ending.
Oh,
yeah.
So literally, their mother was never found.
Yeah, literally, their mother will not be found.
They remain as orphans.
Wow. No. She was never fucking missing. She showed up all the fucking time in that show. It was like, what danger is she in? Like, even when Robotnik did that fake wedding with her, she showed up to object to it. Like, what is she worried about? She can't fucking do something, woman!
The fact that you watched enough of that to know that much is concerning.
I'm a Sonic fan. We're gluttons for punishment.
Yeah.
So,
goddamn furries.
Incidentally, the one I thought about is Nintendo's not going to show up a lot in this one because they only got two, Pokemon and Kirby.
Yeah, there was the Super Mario Super Show. That was a hybrid of Japanese footage and American real-life people.
Yeah. One of them played by Captain Lou Albana from wrestling.
Okay.
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's again.
Of course, yeah.
Really? So only two?
Only Pokemon and Kirby were the only ones where a Japanese animation studio went and did something.
It's surprising to me that Zelda's...
we did get a Fire Emblem OVA, like in the 90s.
Yeah, but that never got localized over here, so...
Yeah.
It had an English dub, I'm pretty sure.
Did that ever get localized over here? Because I don't remember it getting localized over here. I'm going to come back to localization of it.
I remember years ago watching it on YouTube with an English dub.
Okay.
If it's on YouTube, it could be fan dubbed.
Did you guys watch Kirby Right Back at You?
No.
I did, yes.
Nope.
Do you know what's annoying?
I never heard of Kirby until I was a teenager.
Do you know what's annoying? They had the one time they had the Waddle Dee dance, and they didn't play the Kirby dance theme in the dubbed version. They only play it in the Japanese version. You know, it was.
And it was such a weird adaptation because, like, DDD's main henchman was that weird snail guy who was just French.
Oh, Escargoon.
yeah.
And he never showed up except in one mobile game.
Oh, he actually showed up in a game.
He did show up in one game.
Wait, that was a Kirby mobile game?
Yeah, and there was also one of the guy sells DDD all of his stuff. He's a representative of the organisation NME.
Oh right, okay. Very good.
He's voiced by Seto Kaiba.
Nice.
How can I help you, King DDD? I need a monster club with that damn Kirby.
Kirby, yeah.
That's what we do best at MME. You better get it with a money back guarantee.
I mean, it's not as weird as watching Berserk and over here and suddenly hear Dr. Eggman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was weird. And I like the thing about Kirby is it's decent, but it's very episodic and not amazing. Like the first episode, he actually talked weirdly. No, seriously, he actually had English dialogue, and I was like, oh no, that is wrong. Yeah.
Oh.
You know, he started to go, Pow!
Oh.
But other than that, he actually was saying things like they introduced pretty much an entirely new cast for that one. The only game characters they brought in were Meta Knight and DDD.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have access to anyone. No.
The chef came back.
The chef came back, and they had the little hamster thing that Kirby rides. I can't remember his name. But no, they didn't have much of that one. But that was a bit of a cash grab, that one.
Yeah.
So,
which is weird because he doesn't really tie to any specific game.
I don't know why. Why does Nintendo not license more of their stuff for anime? Because Kirby wasn't entirely unsuccessful. They did see a bit of a sales bump in their games.
Well, don't forget they did license Zelda for that god awful American one of it.
Yes.
Excuse me, princess.
Yeah, maybe that's why they don't license their stuff out anymore.
Yeah, but you got to remember that wasn't Kirby was after that.
Yeah.
Pokemon and Kirby were both after that. After the Mario Bros. Super Show.
I think. I mean, in my mind, it would be that their stuff is like not like particularly sort of like Japanese style. I guess a lot of their things. So maybe they feel it wouldn't.
Maybe it'll be more difficult to translate their games to anime.
Yeah.
As it would be others.
Like one that they did it in manga form, and I don't know why they didn't go anime, was Splatoon.
Yeah.
That's because the Splatoon manga is shit.
It's fine.
It's really bad.
Why is it bad?
Well, I couldn't finish the first volume because it had the same every chapter had the same structure. They will meet a new rival. The main character would get naked for some reason. He would use his ultimate, they would win.
Right. I mean, I guess like Nintendo games don't have the strongest storyline, apart from Zelda games. But like,
I suppose they're getting better. Like Kirby, you could easily do a good storyline around that one.
Apart from in Smash.
I would not pick Kirby.
Like you watch the cutscenes for Forgotten Land. They tell a very good story in that one. Simple, but pretty good.
And we're also forgetting the best Nintendo licensed cartoon with Donkey Kong Country. That's what my Canada.
Here he comes, Banana Slammer. That one actually, but I feel like Nintendo now are very protective of their IP. Like,
I wonder why.
You got like I think the only reason that we had the Mario movie and we're now getting the Zelda movie is 2020. Yeah, with 2027 we're going to get Zelda live action film.
Wow.
I think the only reason that's happening is because it was part of the partnership deal for the theme park at Universal. They said, "Can we get a couple of license for movies?" So we'll get them.
Are you really saying the park came first?
I think they wanted to do the park first, and then they said, "Well, can we make movies and we'll give you the park?"
That's doing it backwards.
Yeah, well,
you know what Nintendo's like. They only make sense when they don't make sense.
Yeah, because especially they made that deal with Universal for the parks quite a few years ago, like way before the Mario film was in development.
So the one I brought up before was Sonic X, which is a bit of a black mark. I can't believe that is one of the only two Sonic anime.
What's the other one?
Sonic the movie.
Yeah.
That one was somehow even worse.
Yeah, there's
the president has a cat girl daughter.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And they do a Terminator reference for the death of Metal Sonic.
Nice.
Yeah.
For no reason whatsoever.
Oh, and the best part, Knuckles has a cowboy hat.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
If you wonder why
For no reason.
If you ever wonder why he's wearing a cowboy hat in the Paramount Plus series, it's a reference to that.
I was not wondering that, but okay.
The only thing anyone remembers from that series is the Flames of Disaster meme.
I remember liking the
That's because about 3 people watched it.
I'm one of the 3.
I remember thinking the animation looked good, but
No, it's not very good. The Sonic movie, Sonic X.
Sorry, Sonic X.
Sonic X is all right.
It's not really.
Well, the best about Sonic X was it adapts almost all the games at the time.
Yeah, but It was
It
added.
did? I thought it only adapted Adventures 1 and 2.
It adapted Sonic Adventure Battlers, the Game Boy Advance fighting game.
Yeah.
For some reason, they adapted that one. I think it was because it was the most recent thing at the time. And that one's actually a prime example of how you do it, because they added it in 4 episodes, sorry, and there was actually a better storyline than the game it was based on.
The biggest problem with Sonic X, it had Chris in it.
Yeah, Chris is the worst.
The worst Sonic character.
Who the fuck's Chris?
Chris Thorndike.
He's the kid that finds Sonic in his pool on the first episode, and they all live with him.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's the audience insert character.
Yeah,
Yes.
so he's character who Cyclops from X-Men will later go on to play James Marsden, pretty much.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
yeah.
it was that equivalent.
Put it that way. When they first showed him in the first trailer, I thought James Marsden was playing a grown-up Chris.
Yeah.
I thought, oh god, we're bringing back Chris Thorndike.
Yeah.
The only good, they had some funny lines. Like we got Knuckles being played by Dan Green.
Yeah, which was great.
Although he is doing his Pharaoh voice the entire time.
Wait, who did you say?
Knuckles.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that. Who played Sonic?
It was the same actor from the 4 Kids game. The 4 Kids did the dubs for the games as well at the time, and then when the Sonic X didn't work out, they quit after Shadow the Hedgehog and got a new cast in, and that's where we got most of the current cast. In fact, the only person who stayed on was
Eggman.
Eggman's voice actor, who we should not mention right now now to avoid the comment section being alight with people yelling at us.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Well, we have people yelling at us in the comments.
Trust me, you meant.
Yay, interaction finally.
Please say it, Cal. Give us his name.
Say it, we need the
We
views!
crave it.
My 8 children are hungry, Calvin!
I've forgotten his name.
Yeah.
It's fine then.
Um,
That guy.
Mr. Who-What's-It.
Yeah.
Ron Pollock.
Mike Pollock, that's
Mike
it.
Pollock, that's
yeah,
it.
he's the only one who stayed on post
Voice switch.
voice switches. He was the only one who stayed on afterwards. And then they got Ezio to voice Sonic.
Yeah.
Wow.
And no, he's the best voice actor to play him so far.
Who played him in Sonic Heroes? Was that
That was different. That was the guy from Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and he would do it in Sonic X.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the most iconic Sonic voice to me.
What about?
Iconic Sonic.
Oh, I forgot to mention this random part of Sonic X. They gave Tails a plant girlfriend.
In the
Oh.
final season?
Yeah.
That was so fucked up. The final season. It was
Yeah.
so awful.
Yeah, so Shadow goes into space and commits genocide.
Wow.
But there was no need for a final season. They ended the storyline, and then they said, "No, we need to go one more season."
Yeah, but we need to keep going.
Well, maybe they were making up for it because Sonic Underground didn't get its ending.
But Sonic X-
Response for you, Underground.
But Sonic X had its ending, and then they said, "We'll do another ending."
Yeah.
So Sonic X was shit.
Yeah.
Even though I kind of hope it was a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Because you're a Sonic fan, and everything that the blue bird with the blue blurring gets your chilies going.
I want to deny that, but
You
They
don't.
can't.
You didn't talk much about Mega Man.
well, yeah, but there wasn't that much good to say about Mega Man. Really,
Yeah.
it's not like Battle Network is probably the most prolific anime adaptation, and that's not even a platformer. That's a RTX. That's a
It's-
strategy game.
Yeah, it's like a turn-based card game.
What was the Capcom game? Like fighting goblins or something.
Ghosts and Goblins?
Ghosts and Goblins.
That never got
Capcom
one,
made
no.
it?
No, let's move on to Capcom then. The Capcom had a few. Well, it brings on to the other point. Well, Capcom obviously has had Devil May Cry recently.
Yes.
It always had Devil May Cry before.
Actually, well, since we're talking about it, why don't we talk about Devil May Cry, the original anime? Because I think that's a good one to move on
Yeah,
to.
the original in 2007. One of the first anime I ever saw, actually.
Oh, really?
There was the one I watched after Code Geass.
My girlfriend at the time insisted we watched it.
Steve, I remember it well.
From
Well,
Minecraft? You date Jack Black?
Oh my god! Wow.
I knew it!
I've never shut up about Lava Chicken. Also, while we're on the subject, everyone on Pokemon Showdown, if any more of you start naming your Calyrex Chicken Jockey, I will track you down.
I've seen the memes about this. I've not seen the film, and I don't intend to.
Do not see it.
It's not good.
Yeah,
We did a whole podcast about how much we disliked it.
It's just what needs to.
And also, Steve Lava Chicken has
I
shot
will say, watch it if you're drunk.
I was gonna say if I like.
I think if you're with friends and you're all pissed, I think it'll be a fun time.
No, this is a great one after this. I was like, one of the things, Lava Chicken has got on the UK charts. That shows 17 seconds on Charted. That's how low the bar's been set. And two, I was once on 70,000 Tons of Metal. I was doing one of those share room things, and I put up some clips of Ponyo. Why? I think they asked for a reference to the film because I mentioned it, and they said I would not want to watch this film high.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Imagine watching.
You wouldn't want to see any Ghibli film high. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I think
the way it fuck you up. I feel.
Imagine watching Spirited Away, bro. What fucks up with this stuff? I'm seeing pigs.
And especially if you've got the munchies, and then like, oh my god, I'm turning into a pig. Fuck. All this delicious anime food. Oh.
So, Devil May Cry, I will say, I think it's okay.
I like it. I think it's quite good. I actually really like it.
Have you seen the original Devil May Cry?
Yes, I liked it. I like the drama aspects. I love the art style.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
That sounds amazing.
I think they did a really good job of capturing Dante's look, at least.
I
They sort of combine him in Devil May Cry. It's sort of a combination of him in Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 3.
And they kind of imply it takes place between 2 and 3.
What's the art style?
Wait, no.
No, it's between 3 and 1.
3 and...
Yeah, 3's a...
3's a prequel. 3's a prequel, yes. 3 and 1.
No, I'm pretty sure it takes place after 1 because Trish is in this one.
Oh, yeah, no.
And Dante knows
yeah.
Trish.
No, it would have
so
to...
it takes place between 1 and 4.
Yeah, okay, yes. So 1 and 4... It takes place between 1 and 4, because it's Trish and Lady are in it.
Yeah. That's right.
It's funny because, again, they do very good anime food. That strawberry ice cream looked delicious.
Yeah. They added I like Penelope in it. I thought she was fun.
By the way, we've gone full Zenshu now because we're geeking out over anime food repeatedly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bro, that's just Food Wars. That's literally us watching Food Wars.
Angelus in Dungeon.
Pretty much anything with anime food in.
I brought up Delicious in Dungeon the other day in a meeting.
Just randomly.
I know it was about the fact I was saying that one of the people, the autistic character that people. It was interesting. One of the best portrayals of an autistic character is one where it was kind of headcanoned.
Yeah, especially as the creator came out and said, "No, he's not autistic."
Yeah, that was fun.
He is now.
Don't care. Didn't ask.
These two have decided he is. So unfortunately, okay. So
You've seen him with his special interests.
Can I add something to Devil May Cry? Actually, I thought it was a bit interesting that they kind of went episodic almost all the way up until the final couple of episodes.
Oh no, I like that.
Yeah, I know, I agree, because Devil May Cry, even the games when you play them, they're kind of episodic.
There
in a
is
sense.
a little bit of an ongoing storyline in it though, because that one sort of homeless character who eventually becomes a big antagonist keeps showing up within the story.
It is rather interesting though that when we get the Netflix version, they kind of didn't go down that road. They went for an actual straight storyline.
Is it similar in structure to original Dragon? Then would you say?
Yeah, but kind of yeah. The difference is Trigun becomes more of an ongoing story in the second half. With Devil May Cry is literally the final 2 episodes.
Oh right.
Yeah, it really is.
And also it's a really great representation of the business of Devil May Cry as well.
Yeah.
How it's sort of is really run down. Dante's constantly in debt. like every time he gets pizza, he always says, "I'll pay you back on Tuesday" or something like that.
Here's one for you guys. How would we? Shall we start scoring these anime? Sonic X, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I probably 5 just the memes it
I don't
stars.
think I've seen any of the ones we talked about so far.
No, 3. It's
3.
Sonic Underground 10.
It sucks.
Kirby right back at you.
That's like a 4.
6.
Haven't seen it.
6. There's some good episodes in, and the Waddle Dees were done very well.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry. I'm gonna score it.
I'd say it's an 8.
I go 7.
I'm with Reese 7.
Because it's really good, but the lack of action does pull it down a bit.
It's
Lack
kind
of action.
and also
Yes.
the villain.
That's actually every episode.
Also,
Yeah, but not that much. Though.
the final villain is not great.
Yeah.
I still like it. I think it's fun.
I thought
Actually, 7.5.
You can rate it an 8. Like, I mean, if you
Yeah.
like it, give extra points.
Yeah, exactly. And trust me, there's going to be.
We're all biased.
Yeah,
I
literally.
don't.
7.8.
7.8 is a pretty good score. I think it's the problem I have with that's all basically my problem with Devil May Cry. It didn't have a great villain at the final.
It had multiple villains though.
I know, but the final big villain, like compare that with say the rabbit from the new one. The rabbit's great.
Yeah, but he's the best part of it.
Yeah, we're onto that one later.
Yeah.
That and Well, we could discuss it now if you want.
I haven't seen it.
That was it for last, because it's the most recent one.
Yeah, gives us a chance to talk about Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Who's the best part of that show?
You just said the villain was the best part of the show.
No, he said the villain was the best part. I'm saying Kevin Conroy's the best part of that show.
Batman.
Is it because he had a good character, or because it was Kevin Conroy?
Both.
So, it's sad that they were... So, because in... oh my god, sorry. Dante was the same voice actor as Ken from Street Fighter.
It's Johnny Young Bosch.
Is that Johnny Young Bosch?
In
the new one, in
the
original anime, it's still Ruben.
Yeah,
So, it's still Ken's voice in the original anime. In the new one, it's Johnny Young Bosch.
Yeah, who will probably not be coming back for a while with Ruben.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of stuff happens.
Yeah, and hence why he's been recast in
a lot of right-wing political shit. I think.
Yeah, hence why.
Oh yes.
And Ken's been recast in Street Fighter 6.
Oh lol. Okay.
Yeah. He's and actually the new voice actor's so good I didn't notice. Well, that brings us on to another point. We'll get to Street Fighter in a minute, but because the one thing I found is the anime that gets the game series genre that gets the most anime is fighting games.
Yeah.
Seriously, I found tons of them. Darkstalkers, Art of Fighting.
Mortal Kombat, did I get one?
Yes, it was Defenders of the Realm, which was an American-based one, but it was anime inspired.
And they did another.
Tekken got one.
Tekken got 2.
Several.
Tekken got 3 actually.
What was the one that just came out this season as well? We were talking about
Guilty Gear.
Has BlazBlue, has that?
Not had that. Not
No,
had
BlazBlue has.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, BlazBlue's had one.
Yeah, Virtual Fighters had one.
One.
King of Fighters, Fatal Fury.
King of Fighters didn't get one. Fatal Fury did.
I thought King of Fighters.
No, yeah, King of Fighters had. Maybe the film then.
Because I know all 3 of those films with Terry Bogard in, those are Fatal Fury films. They're not King of Fighters films. No, it's not. King of Fighters is its own separate series because it's a compilation of all
Stop getting so pedantic.
Streets, yeah.
But the worst, I mean, out of all of those ones, because I want to get Street Fighter to have its own thing because it's such a touchstone of video game culture.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, which one do you guys think is, if we're not, which one do you guys think is the best one?
BlazBlue, because it's the only one I've seen.
I mean, I just love the original Street Fighter movie.
There's several.
Yeah, because if you're just based on the anime alone, I'll probably go with the latest second one.
I would go with,
because I was a big fan.
I'd go with the Fatal Fury trilogy. They are really good, and because they're so over the top, especially in dubbed versions. Do you know what the weird one is with Street Fighter? They made 4 animated films.
I think I might have
3 actually. I think 3 of them. They made
Right, it's called The King of Fighters. Another Day, 2005. Suck it.
Oh yeah.
I knew there was one.
So
it was terrible. There was
made
one.
the Street Fighter 2 animated film, which is the one we'll obviously talk a lot about.
Which one of them shows a scene of Thingamajig going yes?
That's the
that's the
American
one.
Fuck you.
They made Street Fighter 2 the animated film.
Yeah.
They made Street Fighter Alpha the animated film.
I haven't seen that.
Oh boy, that one's bad.
Why?
Oh well, Ryu gets a fake little brother.
Oh, I've seen him, but yes, okay.
Jesus Christ, that kid's annoying.
Yeah.
Apologies.
I think Elliot's. Look what he's done to Elliot.
No, I blame the tea. Damn it, Ren.
Sorry.
Stop filling my tea with your
I
farts.
put burping powder in.
I fucking knew it.
Extra burps.
And they made I think they made another Alpha film that had, where they went into Ryu's backstory a little bit with Akuma, and it was really bad as well because it made no fucking sense, and they introduced a bunch of extra characters, and Sakura was there for no reason.
Does Shang Long show up in that one?
No, Shenlong's not a thing.
No, that was a translation error from the original.
Yeah, but then they kind of make it a bit of a canon.
I think they did say
They did kind of. I'm pretty sure Capcom have even kind of acknowledged it.
They did, but
if I remember in Street Fighter 6 at least, there's like a secret fight you could do at the end of the story called Sheng Long.
What is that?
Who uses Ryu's
moveset.
Yeah, moveset.
There's we thought Shenlong was going to be a thing, but then it was Goken they revealed. Who?
Well, I think Shang Long is. I don't know who.
It was supposed to be
but Akuma killed Goken and his master, and I think his master was
Yeah.
meant to be
killed.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's Street Fighter logic. No one stays dead for that long. Even M. Bison's back
I
now.
used to know his Anyway, go on.
Well, let's face it, it's everywhere with Tekken now.
What do you think of the Street Fighter 2 animated film?
I've only seen it once, but I remember it. I remember obviously loving it. Is that the one Ken becomes brainwashed, right?
Yeah, he becomes violent, Ken.
Violent Ken.
And
No, I loved it.
I really like that one. That's one of the times I disagree with Ben the Sage on one of his reviews. I actually like that film.
I remember the animation style being very of its time and being.
Oh my god, it's the most 90s anime.
So good.
Especially with the dubbed soundtrack where they have Alice in Chains and
Yes,
Korn for no
yes,
reason
of course.
whatsoever.
Wow.
Just the end scene is M. Bison driving a lorry at Ryu and he can kick it and you hear, "Are you ready?"
That's something I miss about the fucking Dragon Ball movies.
Yes,
Dragon Ball Z movies.
the
How
licensed
fucking
music.
heavy metal the soundtrack.
Da-dang,
was.
da-dang,
So cool.
da-dang.
Bring that back.
Yeah, there's just like for no
Need
reason Ken driving along listening to Dem Bones by Alice in Chains.
Why not?
How? That's the one thing I do like about they actually. I think it's one of the first times they really nailed why Ryu and Ken work so well as a double act. That they both play off each other so well, and they're both out. Then neither of them is as good without the other one.
So what's the last one then? Did you say 2 Alpha movies?
They made 2 Alpha
And
films.
then did you say the fourth one?
Yeah, they made a Street Fighter 4 OVA.
Okay, yeah.
There was a prequel to that film, which really was just there to introduce Crimson Viper. Bring her back in 6, you cowards! I've missed her having a.
Bring back El Fuerte. That's what we fucking need.
Yes.
This country needs El
No,
Fuerte.
I am not even ironic. I'm not even ironic
I
to
love
say that.
him.
I
He's
love
so
El
cool.
Fuerte.
No, the character I used to play in Street Fighter 2 was T-Hawk.
And
Hell
while,
yeah,
and while,
he's
we're on
okay,
the
I'll
while we're on the subject, bring back Armika as well.
She was in 5. She'll come back. She's a fan favourite.
You know what? Fuck it. I'll do it. Bring back Soul Calibur.
Oh, does that not have an anime?
No.
Really?
No.
I find that surprising, honestly. Yeah.
It would require Bandai Namco to give a shit about the franchise.
Yeah, and let's say to Bandai Namco at the minute, they're still busy milking Tekken.
Yeah.
And look, here's the thing though, I don't really like. I would say, with the exception of the last one we got, I don't like any of the Tekken anime.
No, because it was like the last one there was like Tekken Bloodlines.
Oh god, did you see that awful 90s one that tried to get off the coattails of the Street Fighter 2 animated film? Like they even replicated the famous shower scene and they did it with Anna this time rather than in place of Chun-Li.
Yeah.
The what?
Oh, fighting game films, they always get one of the girls in the shower.
Yeah.
Rule of thumb. Tekken. In first Tekken when it was Anna, they had Zhao Yu in Tekken Blood Vengeance.
It's kind of like I guess it's kind of like how every generic fantasy anime needs one beach episode.
Yes.
Yeah, every fighting game anime, one of the girls is in the shower.
Yeah, or Bathhouse.
Yeah, no, they did that in Fatal Fury. That was mine, obviously.
Yep.
Now Street Fighter can do it with mine as well.
Hey,
Why can't they do a Golden Kamuy and just have all the men do it for
It
once?
is. Oh, that'd be
cowards.
I think knowing the way things are going with Street Fighter's fan base, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, I want to see Ryu and Zangief in the back.
I was
Damn
going
it!
to say Zangief would be, yeah.
Zangief is a definite. I mean, knowing Zangief, definitely good chance of that one.
Yeah.
Knowing Marissa as well, actually, I can see.
Oh shit, true.
The best new character
Yeah, she's
introduced. Thank you very much.
No, true. I only played Chun-Li.
He's biased.
What do you mean bias?
You're always biased. Everything you talk about is biased.
Yes, that's called having an opinion.
Bad one. Continue. Ah!
You've got a weapon. I'm not going to target you.
Did we say? Did you say Mortal Kombat got?
It got a couple of American anime
Yeah.
ones. Yeah, it's a bit again what we call Castlevania syndrome.
Yeah.
It's like there's a few. I mean, I don't know.
Sorry, Castlevania syndrome. Does that mean Mortal Kombat also had one of the characters look like that Yagami?
Yeah, actually, Johnny Cage kind of does.
Oh god.
On to other Capcom things. Did Monster Hunter ever get an anime?
Yes,
Yeah, couple.
Monster Stories Ride On, which was meh.
Right.
I know it got several manga at least.
Yes.
Yeah. But
I remember you getting us a couple for Christmas.
yeah, because there's more money in manga than there is in
Yeah.
anime.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You make way more money
In
on
Japan,
manga.
at least.
In Japan,
Yeah.
you make way more money.
I guess production costs so much.
The other one is, that's another thing. Street Fighter really hasn't had that much manga. If anything, it's been more Western comics that have
Yeah.
done Street Fighter.
I was
We've had Udon did a very good run on it.
On Street Fighter 4.
But then there was one Malibu Comics I did at one point, and they did such a bad job they had to cancel it.
Well, I was actually going to buy UCAL, the Street Fighter 6 manga, but I read through it. God, it was fucking boring, man.
Also, yeah, because they're trying to replicate. I think they were trying to replicate the storyline of the game, and the game doesn't really have much of a storyline going on.
It led in with fucking Jamie and who's the other?
Lucas.
Luke.
Yeah, because they were the three characters that gave me Amiibo.
Right. Who's the other one?
Kimberly.
Oh, okay. She's a cool character.
Basically,
Basically,
everyone likes Kimberly. I'm not like, oh,
she's sick. I think she's fun. I love her design.
Also, anyone who plays it then does that stupid spray paint thing and then fucks up my game. I hate you.
Can you tell I kind of regret bringing up this topic now?
How about getting good cop?
There's okay. Do you know one franchise I can think of that hasn't had any good that has really got bad luck when it comes to the anime front?
Go on then.
Final Fantasy.
I've not seen
Yep.
any of them.
Doesn't Advent Children count?
Advent Children counts, and it's
Does that count?
yeah, it's made by a Japanese studio. It's 3D, but it's
yeah.
so it
Yeah.
counts,
Um,
and it's not very good.
Yeah,
I've heard mixed things about
I liked
it.
it. I thought it was
I've heard some people say, yeah, the story's not that great, but Sephiroth and Cloud fighting is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but what's
that's
the
it.
but what's the point? There's no stakes behind it.
fan
There's-
service, Cal.
There was way more built into Kadash, who, by the way, is one of the worst villains in Final Fantasy history.
But you like Sephiroth.
Just a whiny little brat who can't back up anything, and then basically tries to get all the kids into his drug cult to revive Sephiroth.
But don't you want to see Sephiroth fight Cloud again? Didn't you like it when that happened in the game and you get to see it again?
Yeah, it's cool seeing Sephiroth and Cloud fight again, but
Why do you think they show that one scene briefly in Kingdom Hearts 1?
look, let's face it, the best moment of that.
Oh yeah, you didn't see that, you never beat Sephiroth. I'm guessing. Did you?
Yeah, I did. Well, it took me ages, but I could beat him once.
I think I beat him on my 4th try.
Um,
In all fairness, I did have the ultimate keyblade, and that was max level.
while we're on the
But just while I remember also, do you remember when I perfect killed Vought from Dark Souls
Souls
3?
3.
Yes.
Stream.
Yeah, I did. So, yeah, I thought, oh my god, he's actually going to be good. No, everything afterwards completely ruined
Yeah,
it.
no,
Yeah.
it was a total fluke.
I went back to my phone, I saw all the memes I made during that time.
Oh, did you?
It was all just misery.
Yeah, sorry.
misery. So I think though the weird thing for me though with Final Fantasy Advent Children is as well it's not a lot of the character arcs make a lot of sense. Like Barrett's an oil tycoon. Like what? Considering what he was up to in Final Fantasy VII, that really is a weird choice.
Yeah, but oil isn't Mako, so it's okay.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, and the fact they have to write Vincent out by saying he doesn't have a mobile phone.
Also, am I the only one who at first it was pronounced Mako, not Mako?
no, I can.
Is that because of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime with Mako Tsunami?
No, it's just so. No, I just thought Mako just sounded more natural.
Yeah,
when
to
I
be
was
fair,
reading
it's
Final Fantasy VII.
he's named after the Mako shark.
Oh, okay. Well, because the Japanese pronounce it Mako.
Yeah, but
Mackerel.
Macro Tsunami. Hey.
I mean, that was the only one where it was a direct. No, they did another one that was actually a follow up to the game. They did a Final Fantasy V OVA that no one saw because I don't think it ever got localized over here.
There was also those 3D CGI ones for 15. It was like Kingslayer or something.
Yeah, no, that was the movie. I know the ones you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone was saying, "Wait, why isn't Aaron Paul back in the actual?" They got him for the series for the film, but they didn't get him for the actual game.
Yeah.
So with Advent Children, so if that's anime, I mean, Resi has had multiple.
Well, I think we should get to Resi in a bit, but
I didn't watch the most recent one.
do you know one of the weird things is though? Final Fantasy did have one anime that was an original story, which was Final Fantasy Unlimited, and that's always been one of the poster childs for bad video game adaptations. And I don't get why, because it's not good, but it's not that bad.
I mean, Final Fantasy has several manga that were never adapted.
Yeah, there was that one of the brother and sister who wanted to work on a Final Fantasy game and then get isekai'd into one.
Which one?
Never heard of that one.
Oh god, it's very recent. It's called something like Strangers Within or
No,
something.
I
Which Final
always
Fantasy game
kind
is
of
it?
hoped they did an adaptation for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Because it's a mobile game, but the story now is legit good.
I actually would say I'd recommend you guys watch Final Fantasy Unlimited to make your own judgment on it, because I think it's actually fairly decent. It's a weird plot.
Yeah.
Because it involves a couple of twins trying to find their parents at a place called Wonderland, which they get to via this weird train that can only show up at a
That's just Balan Wonderworld!
If you were to get
That's literally Balan Wonderworld!
if you were to get isekai'd into a Final Fantasy game, which one would it be?
Oh, 9.
So, do you reckon?
Yeah. Either I'm gonna hang out with cool mages or I'm gonna get killed in
I'd say 6. That's the one with Kefka.
Well, no,
That's
because,
the last 2D1 before 7.
well, the thing with Kafka though, he just poisons every water supply.
Yeah.
So
I feel like most of the early ones, because they're like high fantasy, kind of like more lighthearted.
Do you know what the biggest problem with
Also partly because I feel like Kafka would have a similar voice to Goro Majima, and that would just really make me happy.
I imagine him as the same guy from ReZero, the clown guy.
In that case, I think he'll probably sound more like a Beetlegeist. This.
Oh no, Jesus!
Well, the thing is, we don't know. For example, with that, I find it interesting though. Did anyone else? Because I would love to know from someone why Final Fantasy Unlimited got that thing of the archetypal bad video game adaptation. Because I've watched it and I thought they've got to be way worse than this.
It's probably especially bad for the time.
yeah, or just like a big marketing push by Square Enix.
Okay, so the biggest problems with it are things like it sets up a whole bunch of things and never follows up on it. Like, yeah, it doesn't really have a proper ending because they had to continue it in manga form, and that wasn't very good either. But the weird thing is, it was the first time I think Final Fantasy put a summoner as the main character or the main fighter. They did it predates 10 for this.
I was gonna say Final Fantasy 10.
Yeah, no, it predates.
Technically 10 too.
Titus is the main character.
Yeah, but
Yeah. People consider Yuna more the main character in
people
10.
consider Titus and Yuna joint main character for that.
Let's say she's the vocal character, she's not the protagonist.
But the thing about it is, for me, also they sort of combined Yuna and Vincent to create the main character with that one, because he fires a gun which he puts 3 lots of dust in. This like Sailor Moon transformation sequence to fire the summons at them. We don't even get Ixion until the final episode. Fuck you guys.
So what would you rate Final Fantasy Unlimited then?
7 out of 10. No, 6.5 because it does. It does do a bit too much bouncing around all over the place. And there's also, it's a bit weird, they go to Wonderland and there's no Moogles. They got Chocobo, one Chocobo, maybe 2, because they have to, Choco Baba also rides one.
Okay, so Final Fantasy has not had any good ones. You want to know a JRPG series that has had a good anime? Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
You were really into it. You watched
Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai, specifically.
Very good one.
Holy shit, that show is amazing.
But then it also had Dragon Quest Your Story.
Yeah. Which
Not so
was good until the end.
Yeah.
But there's another 3D one we can talk about as well. But Dragon Quest has... It's interesting that Square Enix... Do you think Square Enix would be more open right now to do another Dragon Quest anime, or would they be more open to do a Final Fantasy one?
I mean, I could see them doing another. Dragon Quest one.
I could see them doing a Final Fantasy IX OVA to tie into the remake game when it eventually comes out.
Brother, they didn't even do that for Final Fantasy 7. You think they're going to do that for 9?
Well, 9 needs a bit more of a marketing push, let's be honest. And 7 is everyone's favourite. 9 isn't only a few people's favourite.
Well, I mean, sorry, I just want to gush about Die for a second.
Yeah, go about
Dragon Quest Adventure. I mean, for starters, there's an English dub of it, but I think it play on CBBC because you can only watch it on iPlayer.
Really?
Yeah, and you do want to know one of the fun bits? One of the EDs is sung by Nate Wants to Battle.
No way.
Oh yeah,
Which I thought was really cool.
He's awesome.
Yeah, but oh god, like it's an original story. It's a fully original story, and it's just so good, man.
I think it's based on a manga.
It's based on a manga, yeah, which I think originally was meant to go on for longer because around like the final quarter they were sort of building up another villain who Dark King Vern was working with. But they didn't. But from what I heard, it's either the story writers or the artist's health was really starting to get bad, so they had to sort of cut it short. But apparently, they could be doing a follow-up manga because they are currently working on another manga in that story based around the hero Avan, who came before Dai.
Yeah, the original.
I could see them coming back to it because there's still a lot that could be answered in that series.
Okay, I'd give it 8 out of 10. Eventually,
I'm giving it a 9. Honest to God, it's seriously good.
Yeah, I'll go 8.5. I didn't finish it like Elliot did, but I got majority of the way there.
I didn't finish it the first time around, but I rewatched it a couple years, either last year or the year before, the final 50 episodes is just one big battle. It's all like the battle on Dark King Vern's castle.
How many episodes was it?
100.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a long one.
It's a big.
Yeah.
It's a long one, but it's worth it.
But this is the kind of anime I like. I like long ones that are just beginning, middle, end.
Yeah.
One Piece card.
Yeah. That's never going to end, mate.
Yes,
It's
It's
in
ending.
It's in
The
its
ice-
final arc.
The ice
Which
caps,
it's been for about 10 years now.
the ice caps will melt before that manga ends.
True. Because we'll be using AI to put it out.
Ichiro Ono will be uploaded into the net.
Yeah.
So, okay, we brought up. Ren brought up something though. When we said Advent Children counted, that means Resident Evil.
I just wanted. So you mentioned about Final Fantasy. So whether Square would do Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy. I think if they were to do Final Fantasy, they would do an Americanized style thing similar to what they've done with DMC.
Yeah, Final Fantasy's bigger in the West. Dragon Quest is bigger in Japan.
Yeah.
And they're going to focus more on what's big in Japan.
And I've just
to be
remembered
honest.
what the worst Final Fantasy anime was. Spirits Within.
Oh yeah, the
That counts.
I think, yeah, animated by a Japanese studio.
yeah. If it counts Advent Children, we're counting that.
Because I mean, they got Donald Sutherland in there, and he does a pretty decent job.
That's barely.
And Alec Baldwin's all right in
That's
it.
not even a. That's barely Final Fantasy.
I know, and that's why it's shit.
Yeah.
I say it has more in common with Mass Effect.
Yeah, it was that push at the time. The female character was the first digital person to go on the cover of Playboy at the time.
Oh god.
Yeah, they were trying to advertise her as like a digital actor you could put in other movies.
The-
Never caught on.
The hype was so huge when that.
Yeah.
I remember the marketing for that film. It was huge. I think especially because they were coming off Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, so it was like Final Fantasy can do no wrong at this point. And oh god, it was so terrible.
Didn't that come out not long after the release of 10 though?
No, I think it came out before 10. Spirits Within, I'm pretty sure it's.
Wait, was that a 90s film?
I'm thinking it's
Or
not.
I thought it was early 2000s.
Let me just.
Yeah, I think it might be in the early 2000s.
Final Fantasy 10 2002.
2000.
2001.
Yeah,
Wow.
2001.
No, 2002. Sorry.
I thought it was 2001.
No, 2002 because it had its 20th anniversary in 2022.
Yeah, Spirits Within was 2001.
What was it?
Yeah, 2001 is Spirits Within, and Final Fantasy 10 is. They both come out in 2001
Oh, okay.
in Japan. 2002 in the West.
Yeah.
So,
Right, so the film was July 2nd.
interesting, 19th of July for the game.
So the film came first.
So,
On a technicality.
Yeah.
2 weeks, but it counts.
but that's kind of the environment it was coming into. And I'm gonna say, one thing I give the film slack for is Hironobu Sakaguchi was not in the right mind when he came up with this, because he was ever since 7 he's been doing these ideas. He was doing ideas about like afterlife and what happens after we go, because he was very badly grieving his mother's death.
Yeah.
And that Spirits Within was apparently the idea he had had since then. And Square Enix's attitude was, well, we took a massive gamble on Final Fantasy 1 and it worked. We took a massive gamble on Final Fantasy 7 and it worked. If we take another massive gamble, it's bound to work. And it didn't work.
It did not.
Because they didn't even break even. They lost so much money. They had to close down the animation studio. The
Yep.
only thing that studio did was one of the shorts for the Animatrix.
Yeah, so the budget's $137 million at the time. Box office was $85 million.
It really tanked, and
Just to inflation, that's going to be a lot.
yeah, just for inflation, it's actually interesting what you do for that. If you adjust for inflation, the original Total Recall made 4 times what the remake did.
Wow.
That's how badly that film did.
Yeah.
Um,
But again, for Spirits Within, it took a staff of 200 4 years to complete it. Of 200 animators, just all on workstations.
Good work experience.
Does that what does that considering the circumstances?
Yeah. I don't think that would really look good on the CV. So what did you work on? Oh, Final Fantasy Spirits Within. Get out.
Yeah.
Look good though.
So, having known the background of that movie with what was going on in Sakaguchi's life at that point, does that actually change your opinion on the film, or does it make you think, "Oh, I can kind of see why some of those weird choices were made"?
You can still see why they were made while criticizing it.
Yes, no, I agree. It's not beyond criticism. It's absolute.
Well, if you're saying that 7, 8, and 9 focused on those themes because of his life experiences, then you could argue that like
Spirits Within does.
Well, I mean, maybe this was just.
Yeah, sometimes it can, sometimes those kind of things can work. Like for example, I remember hearing somewhere that Masashi Kishimoto had Naruto meet his father again because he himself had a child and kind of thought that you should get that experience.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting because I one of the things that people say is one of the biggest changes they make in life often comes around the time they have children.
Yeah.
So I know, for example, a weird example is the wrestler Cody Rhodes. He pretty much completely his professional outlook and what he was doing after he had his first child. He basically went back to the company. He left the company he helped build, and he went back to the company that that sort of like they'd turned him away originally because he got that success and he knew he needed more money and he needed a better position in the card to support his kids. So that does, having a child does affect how you approach things. Should we go to Resident Evil actually on that?
Yeah.
Yes. On the note of children and
Yes.
the positive life changes they
Well,
bring.
one of the
Yeah, seeing as Ren's brought up 3 times now.
Yeah.
well, one of the,
And you were just like, no. Let's talk about my JRPG series that I love more.
to be fair, I did bring it back to Final Fantasy.
Resident Evil though, one of those films does have a kid in it, the one that's set in the airport, which was the one where they brought.
Shit, I saw that one.
Where they brought. There was the first time they had Chris and Claire reunite.
Is that the one with the scientist guy who infects himself? Sorry, the one Resident Evil.
Which one?
Yeah,
was
any
that?
idea how much of
Narrowed it
that
down.
down? Like how if you want a child, and a scientist that infects himself, that's Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
No, it's the agent's brother whose his whole family died in.
Has he got long hair?
Yes, his whole
that's the
family
one.
dies in Raccoon City, so he infects himself
That's the one.
with the G virus.
Yeah.
That's that one's pretty good because although it was basically the ending was a massive setup for Resident Evil 5.
How was it?
Yeah, the whole
Oh, yes.
the whole thing of that sort of shadow company is meant to be Umbrella buying up the last of the sources, the people that were remaking G virus. But one of the things I like about Resident Evil is it's essentially an apocalypse movie where they stop the apocalypse almost every time. That's always what Resident Evil is. They stop the apocalypse, or it's a contained apocalypse.
Well, they do it in the live action films.
And that's why.
That's Resident Evil 2.
And that's why those films are shit.
The entire world turns into a desert.
Oh god, those films.
Whoopsie daisy.
Oh god.
Are there dragons in the live action ones?
Yes,
What the
there
fuck?
are. It's so
How
stupid.
do zombies equate to dragons?
I mean, the zombies in Resident Evil are barely zombies.
To be fair though, with the zombies, the other things we get out of it are a natural extension of the T virus. They feel like a natural extension. None of the things that happen in the live action movies feel like that's an extension of the T virus. Like the whole point of T virus is they were experimenting on loads of little different things, as opposed to we can just make up whatever shit we can go. Like the hunters are okay. This is what happens when we experimented with frogs. Whoopsie daisy, we made evil battle toads.
Maybe they found dragons in the live action.
But the funniest thing though, if you remember Resident Evil 2 with Alice, when her powers awaken, she's able to psychically control someone through a satellite looking at her on a video screen.
Wow.
If you remember that?
Oh yes.
I've literally not. I think I've seen one of them maybe when I was younger.
Then they did.
That's so bad.
I mean, wasn't there a psychic kid in Revelations too?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen literally every single one of those movies.
I mean, how technically there's one Resident Evil 7.
What about okay? Here's one.
Oh yeah.
Here's one for you though. They made a couple more of those CGI ones, and they're all right. They're not great. That's all I think about them. They're always. I don't think the first one is the only one I actually proper like.
They have Matt Mercer as Leon in though.
Yeah, but Matt Mercer's always Leon.
Yeah.
Now.
Not always. He wasn't in the remake.
Oh yeah, he doesn't come back in the remake. That was weird not hearing Matt Mercer voice Leon.
Younger character, I guess.
Yeah.
I suppose so. but-
Meanwhile, Mercer was playing a more gruff older Leon.
Was he Leon in 2?
No, he's Leon in 4 and 6.
Okay.
And the movies.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure Matt Mercer is.
No, but I thought he was only in the games. He was only Leon in 6. I don't remember him being. I don't remember him being in
To
4.
IMDb.
When did the first Resident Evil 4 come out?
2005.
2005. I remember it coming
Yeah,
out.
it's back when it was a GameCube exclusive.
Wow. Yes, it's
GameCube exclusive.
For about a week.
It
Do you know
went
what's
to
amazing?
PlayStation like 6 months later.
Yeah.
Do you know what I found amazing? The people on Good Vibes Gaming, I normally like the people who vote in those ones, except this one. Resident Evil came 10th in best GameCube games. Fuck that.
Which one?
4. No,
Where the remake come in then?
The remake didn't make the top 10.
Come on, it's like one of the best Resident Evil games.
Can I put it this way? Sunshine made 5th.
Sunshine's good though. Shut up.
What came first?
Wind Waker.
Of course
I
I did.
don't know why I said
Smash Melee came second. Metro Prime came third.
Smash.
Of course you remember that off by heart.
I can't remember what came fourth now, actually, off the top of my head. But anyway, here's.
Blackadder. Sorry.
You brought up of all the times to bring up one of my favourite sitcoms of all
Oh,
time.
that was funny. Come on, that was pretty
Yeah.
good.
Can I permission to permission to
That was
control
good!
permission to control him to slap himself?
No.
Damn it.
Anyway.
Anyway.
You've got the satellite television.
Should I?
I mean, Blackadder coming forth, that's not very good in the bukkake.
He's generous. He's kind to others.
Yeah.
Bear.
We all know Blackadder's not!
No.
Moving. Moving on. Bear. So we kind of covered Resident Evil now. One we have to establish right now because it's probably one that we even got to it. We're not really doing visual novel adaptations because they're kind of their own thing.
Yeah, because otherwise that's the entirety of Fate.
And also
Steins Gate.
and also all the key stuff like Clanad and not Eden Zero.
I mean, actually, we did get one Fate video game be adapted into an anime. Fate Last Encore.
Oh yeah, that
And that was shit.
But here's the thing: we're also not really doing mobile games because those get a lot of anime.
Yeah, especially gacha games.
So no Grand Blue Fantasy.
Which is a shame because I would love to talk about Grand Blue Fantasy because
Remake is really good.
and also it's probably the most successful one of the bunch that's happened. Like,
The only mobile game anime I remember having watched was Princess Connect Redive.
do you know? I just remembered something. There
Remember-
technically is another a sort of Nintendo.
Oh wait! Shadowverse.
Yep,
That's a card game anime that came out. That was fun.
Should I tell you one though? I've just realised there is another Nintendo one we completely forgot.
F-Zero.
Not F-Zero. Fitness boxing got an anime.
Did it?
Really?
Yeah, no, seriously, it got an anime about a year or 2 years ago.
I do not remember that.
What's the game in Little Mac? What's it called?
Punch Out.
Punch Out. No, that did not. Nintendo doesn't even give a shit about that. Why would any animators want to make that?
So what if we counted Captain N?
We also technically Pit they got a couple of Kid Icarus ones to promote the game. There was a couple of ones they uploaded to YouTube.
Yes, the Uprising shorts.
Yeah, the Uprising shorts. There were some quite good ones, especially Palutena losing complete control of the kitchen.
I like to know. I think he said Cad Icarus, not Kid Icarus.
You had to. It was,
Freudian slip there.
Also, Uprising shorts sound very uncomfortable.
Oh no, Ren!
I mean, it depends on who's talking.
To borrow from Animaniacs. Good night, everybody.
Finally, he credits Animaniacs where he says that. He say it all the time, but he never credits them.
I thought that was an obvious credit, though.
I don't know.
So why did you feel the need to bring up the credit this
I
time?
don't know. All right, give me a break.
Never.
Well, I don't want to surprise the interest. They never did. For all they were promoting it for Final Fantasy 16, they never did an anime of that.
I mean, you know, first I tried doing a media franchise for Final Fantasy 15 that didn't really work out well.
No, Final Fantasy 15, they tried to do all sorts of that when they did the film, they did those gacha games, they were like, every little bit of Final Fantasy 15, you're going to be able to do something with it. And
hell, we didn't even get all the DLC for that game.
No.
Did you guys ever watch the Dante's Inferno anime?
Yes.
It was crap.
Was it good?
It was alright. The best part was the art style.
Yes, yeah.
But it's a mediocre anime for a mediocre game.
I like playing it when I was a kid.
Because edgy.
Yes, precisely.
Also, the fact it had exposed breasts in the cutscenes.
Yes. Yeah, the Lost Circle was an interesting one as an adolescent.
Just play God of War.
And you had an Xbox. Wasn't able to play God of War.
Emulate it.
Well,
I can now. Okay.
That's what everyone said. That's what everyone says to people when they say, "Don't get a Switch 2, get a Steam Deck, emulate the Switch 2."
Yeah. The difference is it was for PS2.
Touche.
Yes, touche.
I like to know most people who want to play PS2 aren't going out to buy PS2. They're just going to emulate it.
Sorry, he just said PS2 shade.
That's alright.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was going for me then. I'm on the show.
Okay, Reese, put down the controller.
So now while I make Ren slap himself, I'm trying.
It's got joystick drift.
The one we never really talked about was probably the biggest one that's been the most successful one, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's hard to really. I think people forget now because I just sort of think of it as a thing, but how huge that anime was when it first came out.
I mean, I didn't grow up much with the games. I just grew up with the TV show.
Not even when it first came out. It's been probably one of the most influential anime ever.
Up until it got to like black and white.
But I remember exactly which cinema I was in when I went to see the first movie.
Same.
Oh, wait.
It was a small seaside cinema in a place in Kent called Whitstable.
I was watching it. I watched it on a small video TV in my mother's bedroom.
Yeah, I watched it.
Because I was 4 years old.
Okay, of the 3 movies that went to, this is one I've always wondered, of the 3 movies that went to cinema, so first movie 2000 and Pokemon 3.
Which
Also,
one was
Pokemon I Choose You, technically.
Which one was Pokemon 3?
It's the one with Entei and the Unknowns.
Oh, okay, I've seen all of them. And the only one I've seen other than that is the one with Celebi. Is that 4?
That's
That's
4.
four.
Yeah.
I've
It's called Pokemon Forever.
That got a limited cinema run in America. It didn't go over a cinema run over here. I think it mainly because at that point Warner Brothers was like, we didn't make that much money on Pokemon 3. Let's put all our money into Harry Potter.
Also, the concept that the fucking villain in that had, like, what is it, a ball that immediately levels something to a level 100 or something?
Something like that,
What
yeah.
the fuck is that? That's so overpowered.
Yeah.
And also, is that the only time because I think they mentioned levels in that.
The other thing about
Do they mention levels anywhere
It
else?
was mentioned in the original anime, like the first 2 seasons.
Oh, really?
Can I also point
In
out,
the Indigo League.
4
And
is
then it's
not-
dropped.
4 is rather interesting because it was
Yeah, otherwise Pikachu would be at level 500.
Yeah.
4 is rather interesting because you're getting a different movie if you watch the American version compared to the Japanese version. The American version contains additional scenes that were commissioned by 4Kids.
Why does it have additional stuff?
It was to basically explain the plot twist to the kids.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, back to your original question.
So yeah, the final scene of the American version does not appear in the Japanese version.
All right.
People who've seen it, they'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
Of those original movies, 1, 2, and 3, which one would you rate the highest and which one would you rate the lowest?
2000 the highest.
2000 highest?
Yeah, probably 2000 as well.
Yeah, from what I remember, I say the original. Maybe just nostalgia.
I'm going 3 is the best one of them, and 1 is the worst.
Yeah, but I don't get one's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the one where the Pokemon cry someone back to life,
Yeah,
that's
because
nice.
after Ash gets petrified.
Yeah, that's nice.
and he's turned to stone because
Plot.
psychic.
Yeah.
That makes so.
So when a psychic meets a Shadow Ball, it causes a human to be turned to stone.
Yeah.
Also, that was the one.
Now
where,
you're getting it.
Also, that's the one where they famously had half the characters deliberately get the wrong Pokemon so the kids felt smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers. There's Alakazam, bro.
Cypher.
Oh, yeah.
And like Hurricane Winds are a breeze for Pidgeotto. That's not a Pidgeotto. That's a Pidgeot.
I remember when because that has Pokemon from Gen 2 as well, doesn't it?
It was a short beforehand with
The
Togepi,
short beforehand did.
Yes,
Snubbull.
of course, yeah.
Snubbull, Togepi.
None about it.
Marill.
Marill.
was in it.
Because I remember watching that. I was
And
like,
that destroyed everyone's Peekaboo fantasies.
Yeah.
Well, I'd only watched fucking. I'd only played like Yellow. And Red at that point.
Also Don fan in the opening fight with Ash against the random trainer.
Yeah, I
yes.
remember that.
In the music
Oh,
video.
yes.
Wait, Misty did have Togepi by that point, did she?
She did.
Oh, she did.
Togepi is technically the first Gen 2 Pokemon that ever got shown.
Yeah.
Then they had those ones in the short and Donphan at the first fight. That was when we first got Gen 2. And then they went all in on the short before 2000 by having that Bellossom dance sequence for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah. And they raid Ladybird when they got to the bottom bits of it.
Holy shit.
And now I've got that stupid Bellossom. No, that's worse. I've now got the Diglett thing in my head again.
Sorry, Carl, get that out.
Diglett
Yeah.
dig, Diglett dig, trio, trio, trio.
It's okay. Nyan, 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 shogi.
Thank you. That's a better place to be.
Slow.
You've been practicing that.
No, because that's part of the short I always remember. Just Slowpoke just gone on forever, and the camera not cutting.
The worst.
Like the elevator scene in Evangelion.
Also,
Yeah.
I will say the other thing is, Psyduck's voice was never much better after the first incarnation. That was the best voice for Psyduck, the first. The thing is, though, I feel like they had a plan for Pokemon in the first incarnation, and after they got past that, they were kind of making that shit up as they went along.
It was basically after the end of the Gold and Silver arc where Ash faces Gary for the last time.
That's when
In
the
the
plans.
tournament, yeah.
That's when the plan's up. They don't have a plan now because
Yeah.
we've done the main thing we've been building to. but they still want us to make more of this shit.
One movie I actually remember quite really liking when I was a kid was a Darkrai movie.
Yep, that's one of my personal favourites.
Yeah, that one I remember actually thinking was really good.
And the first one,
because one of the best parts of that's Brock's Krogug just randomly parries a shot from Dialga.
can I say what-
He just takes it and throws it.
and the first
Krogunk is God.
The first one I had to review for the site when I was doing it was the Hooper one, which was basically a massive advertising for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Oh, so it was a Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie effect.
And except Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie has some good moments in it. This was shit. Like,
Hooper Unbound.
it's the worst Pokemon movie I've ever seen. And then of course they sort of tried to reboot Pokemon again with that movie I Choose You. We did a whole podcast on that.
Yes.
Is that
I like the movie.
No, that was the
No.
one. That was the one we went to the cinema to see.
Oh yes, because it's the whole thing where Pokemon don't exist.
Luxray die and Ash has that dream sequence where
Yes,
he's
that's
just a
it,
normal
yeah.
kid from Japan.
Yeah.
We've got that bit where Pikachu spoke.
Oh God!
Yeah, he reminded me
Oh.
of that.
Jesus.
My whole cinema, the whole cinema we were in when we went to see that was just like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
No one was happy with that.
I'm
Yeah,
impressed
because
that.
because I remember watching that. And then in my cinema, I'm not sure about your guys, it showed the Pokemon Origins beforehand with bits about Reds.
Oh wow.
Because
Yeah,
it showed two of them back to back.
Yeah, that's
I don't think I saw that. I was late to my
Did
to
you?
my show.
Have you actually seen the Pokemon Origins OVA? Those like
Yeah.
short ones that were meant
Yeah.
to like beat the game.
It's like 4. I
They
think.
made 4 episodes. And it was just basically a recap of the game.
Yeah.
What's great?
And with Red catching Mewtwo. Or something.
Yes.
Yes, he fights it with his Mega Charizard X.
Because they were advertising X and Y at the time.
Yeah.
I think my favourite thing with those ones though was the fact of in the Japanese version he names his Charmander Sepultura.
Excuse me.
No, I'm not
Love
making this
that.
up.
Yeah.
Wow. Bloody roots.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and it also changed as well because with the fight against Giovanni in Saffron City, Red loses that fight. He gets the shit kicked out of him.
so the worst.
That's fine.
But the thing is for Pokemon as well, they've tried that reboot because the best Pokemon media ever is the manga Pokemon Adventures.
Yeah.
What about Detective Pikachu?
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
it's alright.
fine. I mean, that doesn't really count as an anime because it was made by a Western studio. It's for
It's because it's a live action movie.
okay. Let's can we?
So I wanted to ask, just because obviously the Digimon movie has
Yes.
shorts at the beginning of it as well.
But Digimon wasn't
So-
really a video game, really. It's
So with Digimon the movie, it starts off with what's her name?
Reese just.
So-
I got this one.
Annabelle Anaconda.
Yeah.
Well, that,
Angela Anaconda.
Angela, that's it.
I just
It's
love
a
the
short. It's short so bad it caused
Oh,
Monica's
yes.
family to have a divorce.
Yeah.
Yes.
The famous Reddit meme.
Yeah.
Because they thought they went to the wrong film.
Yeah, I just
I
just remember it's just funny him going
Yeah.
I'm ready.
The thing about
Tomska in Tomska's video where he talked about the Digimon movie briefly, he had a friend who came over to watch a Digimon movie, and when he went home, he said he couldn't hang out with Tomska because he showed them demonic videos.
Wow.
Because of the Angela Anaconda
So
bit.
the whole thing with Digimon the movie, it's mashed up of 3 different Japanese films.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the original Digimon Adventure, which is Ty and Kari's Kids, that came out before the actual anime in Japan.
Yes.
then there's Diaboromon.
Yeah, so that's our war game,
War game.
which is the best one. Then the third one, which is Digimon OT-Cast, which Hurricane Touchdown, the Golden Digimentals, because Japan goes nuts with its titles.
Right.
That had like over half an hour of its runtime cut out to be slapped on the end.
Yeah,
of
no,
the
that's
Digimon
just
movie.
because they
The,
wanted
the, the,
to-
problem, the problem they had with it was
In which one of those do we get the it's my problem, not yours. You should get over it. Okay.
that was
No,
Hurricane.
Yeah, that's Hurricane. So that's part with Davis.
And-
In the Japanese version, that scene goes on for like 5 minutes. And then just cut it all out. for the
wasn't it
rest
right?
of
They
it.
basically crowbarred Willis into the second one.
Yes, so Willis does not appear in our war game. They
Yeah.
literally edited the scene to make him email Izzy
The-
saying, "Oh,
It's
I'm
my-
saying it's all my fault."
Did it tie back to our war game though, Hurricane, in the original version, or did they have to
No.
really tie in Diaboromon to that whole thing?
Yeah, they generated Diaboromon because originally with Kokomon going to Wendigomon, that was a Japanese original storyline.
Because they did bring back Diaboromon in one film.
Yes,
Yeah,
now,
Revenge of Diaboromon.
yeah, which that's a bad film. It also has random American graffiti in the back of those shots, and it's just random swear words in English,
Lol.
and no one picked it up because it was Japanese
I
only.
love that.
So-
It wasn't broadcast over here.
So here's the weird thing, though.
I've been playing Cyber Sleuth recently. I finally recognise these Digimon.
See, the weird thing is, Digimon doesn't really work for this category because it was a Tamagotchi game.
Yeah.
But game.
It wasn't really a
Wasn't really
game
a game.
per se.
Oh,
Well, technically, Digimon World 1 came out before the original anime.
Okay, oh yes, so I was wondering about that. Yeah, because I think that.
We're stretching it a bit though with this
Yeah.
one.
Were shorts in movies a thing, like in anime movies at that time?
Not exactly.
Pokemon and Digimon
The thing is, we're going back to this one. The reason why Warner Brothers and 4Kids didn't have much of an issue getting a Pokemon movie off the ground is because there were feature-length Pokemon films.
Yes.
Japan doesn't have the same rules in regard to how long a film. You can get a much shorter film in a cinema.
Yeah.
Because it's in the UK to get a film in a cinema, it has to be like an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes bare minimum.
Okay.
In Japan, it's like an hour and 10 minutes.
Right.
So there wasn't a Digimon movie per se. They
That
were all
was
like
long enough.
that was long enough.
Yeah,
That's
because
what you just felt it.
the whole thing, I think our war game was like under an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Underworld War Games under an hour. Hurricanes about just over an
just
hour.
over.
The short was created that's about. The short is the only one that's in full length, isn't it?
Yes, the original Digimon Adventure.
Yeah.
Have they since released? Sorry to go on about this, but have they since released full-length versions of War Game and?
Not in the West.
Not in the
Okay,
West.
okay.
No. No, you have to get. You can import them if you're savvy.
Oh no, they did release them in America, not Europe, because there was a thing last year or the year before about it because they got released on Blu-ray.
Did they get Johnny Young-Vash to voice TK again?
I'm not sure. Probably, considering he does a lot of these.
Yeah,
DVDs.
because he did voice him in the Try series.
Yeah, but he didn't voice him originally in the series or the original.
What
films.
is okay? There's one for you then, because we're kind of going a bit off topic at this point.
Yeah.
With
A
regard,
bit.
in regards to the Pokemon stuff, you can sort of tell Warner Bros. It's weird to think that Warner Brothers had a big stake in that one at one point, and then they kind of just walked away from
Also,
it.
we've been talking a lot about the movies. I'm actually talking about the series.
Just 'cause
Oh, yeah.
the kind of the point the thing we talked about the series was the fact they didn't really have a plan post Johto League.
Yeah.
Because you can sort of, what do we think of the Orange Iron League? Because that was like the filler arc to get us over to Johto while they were making Gen 2.
Yeah, that part was fine.
I watched very little of the anime. So.
I mean, technically we had that again in between Hoenn and Sinnoh because we had the Battle Frontiers.
Oh, yeah,
between
as
us
well.
two.
Do you know what's weird about the Orange Irons off? They actually have a reference to the Marx brothers in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of the characters is a direct play off of Groucho Marx. He's they even actually reworked one of his famous jokes into being for Pokemon.
Am I meant to know who that is?
They were one of the
Which
most
one's Carl?
They were one of the most famous comedic troops in like black and white films. These guys were like huge in terms of the start. It was basically the equivalent.
Showing your age again, are we?
Put it this way, they were. I'd say they were at the time. They were bigger than Monty Python of their time.
Probably.
Well, I've never heard of you.
That's kind of the voice.
You don't vote for a king!
I'm being repressed.
My favorite.
Bloody peasant!
I think they actually reworked one of his famous jokes for with changing fish to Magikarp for like having to find a Magikarp in my pajamas. Trust me, it made sense at the time.
Yeah.
And the
Orange Islands was also when they wrote out Brock due to perceived racism.
there was
Yeah,
So it got replaced with a white character called Tracy.
Wow. Okay.
so he was directly designed to appeal to American audiences, and
Yeah.
American audiences hated him.
Yeah, everyone was going to bring back Brock.
It was funny. It was funny. It was funny because I don't remember at the time there being that much of a backlash to Brock's character design. Like
It was mostly in the media, not by kids.
it wasn't by kids, and I remember a lot.
Because it was the same controversy around Jinx at the time.
Yeah,
okay.
Jinx. At least they actually had something to. Jinx, I think that was fair.
Yeah.
Which is why the Christmas special is
Yeah.
hardly ever gets rebroadcast.
In all fairness for Jinx, and I know that's not a good way to start a sentence. There was a theory that it was based more around Gyaru girls in
I've heard
Japan
that
rather
as well.
than like racist stereotypes.
And it's
Did
also,
not help.
It's also based on a Japanese ghost story as well.
Yeah.
An ice woman with a half black face.
Put it this way. Even so, they weren't great, and I think
Yeah.
it's rather interesting that Jinx now is coloured purple in
Yeah.
pretty much everything. The Holiday Hijinks actually was one of the banned episodes. There was like a few banned episodes. Only 2 never got dubbed.
Was one of the epilepsy one?
Free.
Yeah.
Only 3 never got dubbed. The epilepsy one, or Porygon Showdown, which
There's the one where Tentacle caused 9/11.
that one did eventually come back.
Yeah.
They after 9/11 they took 2 episodes out.
Okay.
After 9/11 they took 2 episodes out of circulation. That one where a giant tentacle destroys half the city.
Which is funny though, because it's still the opening.
It still was in the opening.
With tentacles smashing the building.
Yeah, of course.
They also took out the Gengar, Ghastly, and Haunter episode because it was called Tower of Terror.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So that was taken out. So they both came back eventually.
You know what I'm really happy about? They didn't change Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers because that's prime. I'm so amazed that came out the year after.
The ones that
Gandalf, no, send the eagles away!
Literally.
the ones
Yeah,
that
yeah. Mr. Frodo, sir, you hate the second tower.
no, the ones that
There's
they
some lateness. No, anyway.
the ones that they could they never brought. They did bring in Holiday Hijinks eventually.
The episode with the Safari Zone, I don't think came back.
That never came back.
Because it has the guy pointing a gun in Ash's face.
Yeah.
And the Bays of the Beach was the one which was. It did eventually happen, but
The
they had to censor it so much.
They gave James fake breasts.
And they didn't do the one.
The gun safari.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mention that.
Yeah, but they didn't do the handguns.
Yeah,
they didn't do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Invisible gun.
No,
Okay.
and then, which is weird because Ash suddenly had to load Tauros for no reason.
Yeah. Because that's the episode he catches 30 Tauros.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then they're just in the rest of the
The
series.
series.
Yeah, because he actually uses them in league battles.
Oh really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
he uses them frequently.
Okay.
Yeah, I still remember like one episode where he comes home and all his Pokemon just sort of show up to greet him. I just thought that thinking, why do you have so many Tauros?
Oh, yeah, no,
He uses it in the. He uses one of them in the.
Yeah, he uses one. What's with the other 29?
He uses one of them in the Orange League final.
Yeah, he also used one is battle against Gary in the
But if you think about it,
Silver Cup.
the Orange Islands arc, that might have been actually one of the biggest influence on modern Pokemon. Because if you think about it, we got region-specific Pokemon.
Yep.
They're like in terms of like variations. That comes from the Orange Islands. Then the fact that gyms require you to do a bit more thought process before you can get to battles in terms of how you use your Pokemon.
Well, which is what we saw pretty much like Sun and Moon.
Yeah, so from Sun and Moon onwards, with the trials, and like that got carried into other games. So the Orange Islands are probably one of the most influential parts of the show. Apparently, they never got to actually answering what the GS Ball was all about.
Yeah, so the big rumor going around there was supposed to have House Salaby in it.
Yeah, it was supposed to play a part in the 4th movie, and they never revealed it. That was it's always been one of the most annoying things that they just forgot that this thing was a thing. Like we had 2 full fucking seasons and we just abandoned this plot altogether.
Well, it was the same plots on the Crystal Onyx where they said they're going to investigate it.
Oh yeah,
And they never did.
Never did. That was annoying. I like the Crystal Onyx.
Yeah, because that easily could have been a regional form.
Here's the thing.
That could have been an evolution of Steelix.
Or like a cool shiny or something.
Here's the thing though as well. They barely ever had game characters in it, other than the gym leaders. Like Bruno's one episode.
Yeah.
Lance, I think, was for a bit.
Yeah, Nurse Joy's in quite a few episodes.
Officer Jenny.
No showing up. Well, Officer Jenny's only in the first game.
Is she really?
Oh, she's only in Red and Blue. She never showed up in any of the others.
Also Yellow.
Is there any explanation as to why all of the nurses are Nurse Joy?
They're just siblings,
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
apparently.
Yeah.
A lot of siblings.
What a pair. Fucking hell, feel bad for the parents.
Yeah,
I
The most virile couple in the entire-
I just fucking imagine the mother like a Gatling gun, just
It's like
What?
a termite queen.
well, a big fan theory is the Nurse Joys are part of the same cloning scheme behind Mewtwo and another clone Pokemon when it went to human trials.
Which
That's
would
what
certainly
they used to do in
explain.
NHS.
Which would certainly explain the part of the first movie.
Where she's under control of Mewtwo.
Yeah.
More on that in a minute, but we also. The other one I found interesting though is the only one of the Joys ever actually had much of a difference in her personality, which was the Pokemon psychologist from Johto, because who tries to fix Chikorita's jealousy issues around Pikachu. Yeah. Yeah, Chikorita really likes Ash and is really jealous of Pikachu.
Yeah.
One thing I really hate that they did later in the series was that they kind of flanderized Brock a fair bit.
Yeah, Brock definitely.
Like he in the first series, he's sort of known as he likes the women, he like falls in love, more often than the other characters. So all of a sudden, whenever a new woman shows up, he just falls instantly in love with her.
And of course, they had the famous ear pull from Misty.
Yeah.
Or the crow going to poison jab.
Yeah.
Can we? One thing I will say.
Well, apart from one time when they met Cynthia, where Krogan was just too intimidated by Cynthia to actually do it.
There was actually one episode in Sinner where he was flirting with a girl and Krogan wasn't there, and he was just like, "Wait a minute, Krogan's not here. I can flirt with everyone I want."
He nearly gets married a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like, we really thought Ivy was going to be the match, and then that never happened.
Yeah, and it says actually might have been abusing him by the way he comes back and talks about it.
Yeah.
Where he's saying like, oh, never mention her again.
Can I just say, we haven't touched on Team Rocket at all?
Yeah, but they're the best part of the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, one of my favourite episodes is the one where James's parents fake their death.
I can't remember.
Really?
I really didn't watch that.
I remember the one where he goes to his parents' house and actually fights against Jessie and Meow to protect the Pokemon there.
Yeah,
That's fun.
there's and a lot of people say James was one of their first. A lot of LGBTQ youth actually really cite James as one of their favourite characters.
Oh, absolutely.
He's so
Kidding?
quick.
There's a fact when they did the episode of DBZ Abridged, when they did the Ash episode for the Cell Games joke, we had Team Rocket Show where James is going, "We're here, we're queer, get used to it." Wrong time, wrong place, James. They didn't kind of do that with. Did they do that with Jessie? I don't think they really did.
She had a backstory. Wasn't she like part of like a biker gang or something?
Yeah, and then it turns out her mum might have been the one who discovered the Mew fossil. And
Yeah.
that might have driven her to her death.
Yeah.
Once again, though, I feel like they were also a victim of Flanderization.
Yeah.
Because they were constantly blasting off. I remember specifically one episode in Sinnoh where they were going to try and catch a Hippowdon because they noticed, oh my god, Pikachu Electric doesn't affect it. We'll catch it, then we'll catch Pikachu, and you just think, surely just bring the Hippowdon then to the boss. That's the more powerful Pokemon.
Can you not just go to Viridian Forest and get a different fucking Pikachu that's less hard to catch?
Also, they did the best fourth wall breaks ever.
Yeah.
Why didn't we just do this before? We have to fill a half hour. I think one of my personal favourites was in the films where they think, make it double, we're on the big screen. I'm going to have to catch this on video. Or
in the films where they say it's out of the coming up games, like the whole thing with the gem system about ruby, sapphire, emeralds, diamond, and pearls.
Yes.
In that scene.
They are like the quintessential Saturday morning.
I think that especially worse though in the later seasons where for some reason James has a bottle cap collection.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see
don't
that.
you diss the bottle cap collection. I love the bottle cap collection.
It's weird. It comes out of nowhere.
But it's so in character, I feel like he would have a
But the thing is, as well,
collection.
what I love is the fact that they kind of really care about their Pokemon. Like, one of the most heartbreaking episodes was the episode where they have to say goodbye to Arbok and Weezing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God! It's like, that's the whole meme of, why are you crying? It's just a cartoon thing. Joke. That was
There
like,
were so many episodes like that though. There was a Butterfree episode, there was a Pikachu episode.
Well, there's several Pikachu episodes
So-
now.
I'll come back for you,
Obvious.
Pidge. I'll come back for you, Pidge.
Yeah, it's almost like Ash, eventually Ash is gonna just get a shotgun, go Pikachu, get out.
Well, Pikachu, take the stone or take the lead.
The other thing...
You're dragging down the team.
No, if he gets the light ball, he might be able to still useful in the team.
No, yeah, but it's still not really though. Base health.
Moving swiftly on because we don't need me going down this route. It's like Pidgeot still not come back for it.
Lapras still not come back.
No, Lapras they were always going to get it back to its mum. That one they get a pass. Also, that was one of the best parts of the Orange Island arc. I love that Lapras. Incidentally, though, the one they did actually eventually resolve, Butterfree. He reunites with Butterfree at the end.
Yeah.
I remember for the final battle in Battle Frontier, they actually bring back Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charizard for that fight.
That was amazing moment. Like I didn't really like that season all that much, but that one made it worth it.
Yeah.
Partly because the final boss of that just randomly has Regice.
And of course, they did actually do a few episodes where the Pokemon just were allowed to be Pokemon. Like one of my favourite episodes for that one was Bulbasaur the Ambassador, which actually was a big part about the fact of this. It was when you really thought about it, hang on, Bulbasaur really is a character that we followed since the beginning, and it's been here all this time. And this was kind of the farewell episode for that character.
Yeah.
Then, of course, they brought it back. Then, of course, Professor Oak kind of used it as in battle in Pokemon Chronicles, which was the only time we got closest to finding out who Ash's dad was, who might have been him.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm annoyed they never followed up on that.
Yeah.
It's better that we don't know, I think. It's not an important part.
Then don't bring it up in the second fucking episode!
Yeah, because there's supposed to be like 3 main choices. There's Bruno
Giovanni.
originally.
Bruno.
Yeah, the lethal fighting type, Kanto.
Oh right.
He was one of the choices they had.
Yeah, they're from Chronicle, that silver guy.
Silver and Giovanni.
Yeah, Giovanni was the third one.
I just like the memes about Oak being a fucking womanizer.
Honestly, yeah.
Or the fourth one, Mr. Mind.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I've heard.
Yeah.
Mine, Mr. Mine. That was a weird fucking Pokemon.
Ugh.
Also, that was the second movie where we found out what Ash's mum's name was.
Mom.
Delia, her name is, as it turns out. They actually...
She used to be part of Team Rocket.
Yeah, Karen confirmed that in the live-action stage show.
Yeah.
So we kind of really been on a massive Pokemon talk on this one.
Well, only because there's so much to talk about it.
But it really was the biggest...
I mean, we haven't even gone to Pokemon Concierge.
Which I really like.
That was fun.
Is that anime though? I don't think.
Yeah, it's stop motion and it's made by a Japanese studio.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And we also got a TCG anime, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
I thought we got like a couple.
No,
of
that's a Western show. That one was a Western animation.
Right. Okay.
Done by, I think it was, I can't remember who it was done by, but I'm pretty sure that was done by a Western studio, that one. So it is a Western anime, the TCG. It's called Road to Victory. Yeah, they did a bunch of shorts where she does the regionals and then she goes to the World Championships. And somehow they forget that, she doesn't need to win the IC to go to the World Championship. She just needs to win the regional and she goes to Worlds.
Yeah, there's also that brief short OVA series that we watched, which is saying Galar. You know about that sick kid in a hospital bed?
Oh, yeah.
What was that called?
Was it Corviknight something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Black Wing something? I don't know.
They
I
did
remember
and
Corviknight
also,
was part
also
of it.
recently we got the Dragonite Postman
one
that came on YouTube.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was cool. The thing is, though, the one I really want to bring back to before we go on to the final talking point is the Netflix 3D one. Because we talked a bit about Pokemon Concierge, and now that's a really cool, stop motion Pokemon series.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about did any of you watch the remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back in 3D?
No, because I thought it was completely pointless.
Yeah.
It really is. It's basically the exact same fucking movie. But the animation looks pretty cool.
Yeah, but
but the thing is, I think Pokemon's a weird one to try and make look good in 3D.
I mean, for God's sake, the games can't even do that.
Yeah, because what was with Sets Picture, we could cross over into the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, there really is an Uncanny Valley effect going on with some of the Pokemon in that one. At least they fixed the continuity error at the beginning of Golem being able to being destroyed by a Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
So they changed that now to being a Pinsir.
Yeah.
Which I think can learn the ability Lightning Rod, so I'm not sure that entirely works.
I mean, logically, a lightning bolt would destroy a piece of rock, wouldn't it? So,
Yes,
I know it's a
ground. It's part ground type, you idiot.
Yeah, but logically.
Since when have the games ever cared about type matchups? Or those series, rather?
You still
I'm
use
going to
quick
scream.
tap by the end of at every stage of the anime.
Here's the thing, though. It's rather interesting because with Mewtwo, that's another example of a voice actor who's no longer with us. The original voice actor, they had to get Dan Green to do the new ones. I don't think Dan Green does the voices in the Netflix one though.
I'm not sure.
Which is a shame because I think Dan Green is good as Mewtwo.
Yeah.
Mind you, he's just doing his same voice again.
It's a good voice.
It works, but it is now just I'm hearing the Pharaoh. Every time he does that voice for another character, I'm just hearing the Pharaoh.
Did Dan Green do the voice of Mega Mewtwo from the Genesect film?
I think he did, yes. But okay, so really that brings us up to now with the big ones that have come out being Castlevania and Devil May Cry.
Whoa, Carl, hang on a minute. You got past the biggest competitors to Pokemon. Yokai Watch.
Skip.
Oh yeah, it was very bad at rip-off Ren.
Yeah, I remember it being advertised all the fucking time.
It was
when I was a
promoted.
teenager.
Yeah.
And it was in too many places, and they even tried to release it in 2 different versions, like Pokemon did.
Yeah.
Who would win, Pikachu or Old Granny?
Was Was Monster Rancher a game before an anime, or was it? An
Yes,
anime?
it was.
Yes, it was. And what's weird
It was a PS1 game.
Yeah.
And it was that one where you put your CDs in and it would
Yes, yeah. So the games would scan your CD for the information on it, then give you a different monster every time.
Really?
But you do like once per CD.
Okay.
For the love of God, I dread someone pointing a Cannibal Corpse CD.
Yeah, but it works even now with like modern CDs you can
Wow.
use.
Really? That's
Yeah.
incredible.
so there must what's the technology behind that? Because it must be something like
I mean, the PS1 could play CDs. They probably just use scanning technology.
yeah, I know I get that one, but how does it figure out which monster to go with which CD?
I assume it'll just like randomly based on
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
randomise it.
yeah.
Oh,
As long as it scans like a code on the CD.
Yeah, because they tried to really make Monster. By the way, Monster Rancher had one of the most. That one we're on about now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I mean, I just brought it up.
Yes,
yeah. Monster Rancher.
That had one of the worst endings of any anime I've ever seen.
I watched like a few episodes.
The ending is crap beyond belief.
Well, Red, I've got good news for you. It's all up on YouTube.
Hey,
Yay!
free!
All the illegal
So-
uploads.
I was going to say something has
So-
border and the image is reversed.
So-
it's Korean subtitles.
So Devil May Cry, we're gonna do a little bit on Devil May Cry because I don't want to do too much on it because we're gonna discuss it in the seasonal roundup because it's really good.
Well,
Spoiler alert.
Well,
It's really good.
I like it less than you, I think.
I haven't seen it.
But the one
I'm positive to a little mixed.
I will say one thing though before we get onto that one. They talk about the creator's previous work, Castlevania, which is phenomenally good.
Yep.
It's my favourite Western show.
Yeah, no, I love Castlevania is a prime example of they took a bare bones story and they made something amazing out of it.
I think that's the best way to do it is to elaborate and create and use up the empty space.
I mean, there's not really much you can really adapt from the games. NES series.
Yeah, especially since they were adapted Castlevania 3. Like later on, they would get more storyline. Like Symphony of Night onwards, they really would have a lot of storyline. Rondo of Blood actually was a real chance where they really first experimented with that, and then they kind of said Symphony of Night onwards. Yeah, we're now going to go all in with this.
It makes me think of if Castlevania is sort of like limited in its story. Like it makes me think of like a Dark Souls type thing. There's so much room for what story that you could tell.
Except now they really can't do that. Like if you played like the Dominus collection, which is the DS games, those all have very intricate stories of things going on. So you'd be a bit more constrained in adapting those ones. Like, but even then they didn't really do it. So for example, when Castlevania Nocturne came out, they were adapting Rondo of Blood. And that one, they really just went off and did their own thing with it. They put the bare minimum of Rondo of Blood in. Like, Richter's girlfriend doesn't get kidnapped. In fact, she's a badass.
Yeah. Maria's sick.
Maria's one of the best parts of that show.
First season, let's say. Second season.
But I feel like they never reached the heights of Season 2 of Castlevania. Castlevania 2 peaks at Season 2.
I'd say, personally, I think Season 3.
Yeah.
No, I like Season 4 more than Season 3.
Season 3 is sick. I really like it. Come on, you can't hate the line, what the fuck is toilet paper?
The judge played by Jason Isaacs is fantastic.
Yeah, and come on, the bit where they're going into the infinite corridor, that is sick.
And Bill Nye's good in anything he's in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he's like even in crap films he's good. Like he's even good in Total Recall remake.
Except it doesn't have a grotesque conjoined twin.
No, and for some reason
that's not right.
And for some reason they make him do an American accent.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the only two places that exist in the Total Recall world, and that one is England and Australia.
Yeah.
Apparently, everywhere else died.
Yeah.
So,
I can say Rule Britannia then, but I'm not saying that.
there's what's it called? But that's the thing about Castlevania. It's just so well put together in terms of like how they adapt the storylines, and the animation's great, the voice acting's great.
It has some of the best action scenes I've ever seen in like an anime western.
I mean,
holy shit, that fight in like I can't remember what season it is, but like the one in the clock tower where they're all swinging across all the gears. Holy shit, that was awesome. And then even Nocturne, like the fight against Elizabeth, that was so well done.
Or just like Season 2 when they first, all three of them show up at Dracula's castle. That first fight scene is like, there's tons of fan service to previous Castlevania games, but you don't, it's a bit over the top, but it's so well animated.
So, as someone who's never played any apart from watched you play some of them, even just as a total newbie, it's still phenomenal.
I know.
Some of the best
Yeah.
animation.
Well, I know.
you've
I
seen-
know what I'm buying
and
for your birthday.
Yeah, and the thing is, you've seen him play it, so that's especially a bad
Yeah,
experience.
so it's nice seeing actual competent action sequences
So,
play out in front
what
of me.
is the best? So, in terms of that one, do you think like Nocturne? Do you think that ending is a conclusive ending, or they're going to go and do more with that one?
I mean, we thought season 2 was going to be a conclusive ending to the original Castlevania, and it could continue on. I could see it continuing forwards.
Yeah.
I would like to see what Annette and Richter get up to when they go back to her land. I'd like to see the that one paladin, what that one paladin's like as a vampire. Let's see what Maria. I think it could do more with
They
it.
could, in theory, do an adaptation of Symphony of the Night because they're at the right point in the timeline to do Symphony.
It'd be
of the
tough though because I think Dracula's not a villain anymore,
Yeah, that's the problem.
and Elizabeth, who was the villain, is gone now.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We don't have either of the two main villains. Like,
Yeah, although it brings up now, they brought in other pantheons, I saw with the Egyptian gods.
yeah.
Like, it's going to cross over with God of War now.
Yeah,
You can go to other countries and their religions.
No,
and
they're
just
going to
kill
cross over with Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah.
We're going to get Richter with the dual disc.
What about the weird thing? The weird thing for me with that one was again they never brought Shaft into that series, and he's one of the most iconic villains in Castlevania.
Yeah.
We could do it for
Good.
Simon's story.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, we haven't got to Simon Belmont yet.
Yeah.
Do you think it's surprising that they haven't made a new game, have they?
No, apparently the leaker Nate the Hate has suggested there might be one in development.
It would make sense. Like it's taken off.
Well, we've had
Yeah.
2 collections since the series have come out because we've had the Advanced Collection, and the Dominus Collection.
I'm pretty sure the last game was Lords of Shadow 2.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
last new game.
Yeah.
If you don't count the pachinko machines.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what it was on for such a long period of time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Castlevania was just that.
That was all it was. Yeah, and I did.
That's what most of Capcom's franchises were for a while.
Konami.
Yeah.
Konami. You know what I mean.
Yeah, well,
They
that's
both start with a K.
no one starts with a C, one starts with a K.
A K. I said a K
A
sound.
kicking cut.
No, that's oh god, that was my
Yeah, or just Castle of Animal. Cat.
Who's got the controller? Double team.
Now you're talking double team.
Yeah. So, yeah. What?
And that's Cal dying.
Well, what happens if I press the R button? The camera just flies into his face.
How did you do that? You checked on nothing.
That's so much.
Oh, Balvin.
Right, so Cal's incapacitated, and I'll take over Axia.
It's happening.
Coup!
If you would like to be the 4th Amigo in the next video, please contact us.
We're putting out applications for a new code director.
Oh god.
Calvin has fallen. I'm now the new supreme leader of Axia.
Yay!
All hail Cal.
None of this is being cut. I can't be asked finding cutting this. Okay.
Okay, let's just move on to Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry.
Yep.
It's really good.
I'm as I said, positive to mix on it.
Yeah, I'm saying Bose Elliott.
The best part about that show is Kevin Conroy as the vice president.
No, best part of that show is Johnny Young Boss as Dante.
Well, I'm going opposite. I sort of say White Rabbit's the best part of his backstory.
Oh,
Episode
White
6.
Rabbit's sick.
Yeah.
White Rabbit's amazing.
Yes.
Also, I'm gonna be honest. I like Kevin Conroy's in it. I think his character's kind of lame.
I like his character
Why?
because he's
His character is basically the demon. Oh, what's that? You think the demons are sympathetic? No, they're not. Fuck you. We're gonna invade them. We're gonna enslave them. It's basically his entire personality is just American politician.
Yeah,
have
that's the point.
Have you been paying attention to politics right
Yeah,
now?
that's the point with MAGA. That's why the character was created.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
Yeah, but I mean, we've
it's
seen
weird.
that character so many times. Don't really do anything different with it.
Yeah, but I think Kevin Conroy does add a certain edge to that. And I find it interesting, though, he did record that before his death. It's not AI generated.
Yeah, he recorded back like 2022, I think.
God, this
Like
could be in
years back.
this could have been in development a while.
Yeah.
It was, mind you, I didn't.
We had heard about this anime happening for a long time now.
Yeah, I'm glad it finally has come out. Do you think they'll do more with this one now, considering the?
Well, it's-
Season 2 has been greenlit.
Yeah, I mean, any more than that, because it is a bit of a mixed response this one has got.
I mean, from the Devil May Cry fan base, the main complaint is Lady.
Lady is the one I've
Yes,
heard a lot of.
Because every other line she says fuck.
Yeah.
And that's not That's not very good.
I mean,
That's teenage writing.
I mean,
because it's the same problem I had with Cowboy Bebop live action.
Yeah.
by the way, this is the most late 90s 2000 thing since the Digimon movie because it's got. We've had Rolling by Limp Bizkit is the opening theme.
Yeah.
I noticed I was saying this to Ren because he's just going, You've not seen it. I have someone to explain this to.
No, I've heard this before.
We've had Papa Roach in it,
Yeah.
and also Guerrilla Radio by Rage Against the Machine is when the song plays the jukebox during a fight scene.
They know their audience.
No, I was also gonna bring up that Evanescence wrote a new song.
Oh yeah, Evanescence wrote a new song for it.
Yeah.
And during the bombing of the Demon World, they played "American Idiot" by Green Day.
Yeah.
All we need now
Because
is
symbolism.
Less Than Jake
Yes.
and Smash Mouth, and we got the set complete.
Oh, we can't
Yeah.
Smash now.
Also, this show had a lot of references to other Devil May Cry games.
Yeah.
Like one of the demon hunters was Lucia from Devil May Cry 2. Two of the demons were Andre and Rudra. Sorry,
Okay.
Agni and Rudra from Devil May Cry 3. One of them was the plant demon from Devil May Cry 4, actually.
I mean, the good news about doing this is we don't have to spend as much time discussing it during the seasonal roundup.
When the bed again, we're going to spend like a minute on it during the season roundup.
I-
USA is like, oh, we're going to go into a big discussion on it. Now we're going to spend a minute.
Yeah, I get in the sense none of us are going to pick it for the highest spots in anything.
No.
I saw. Did they have like a random YouTuber cameo or something?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It was they basically the conspiracy theorist is based on apparently is based on a crap reactionary streamer
Yeah,
called
so
Asmongold.
yeah, and it was confirmed by the director because the director sucks him off in his comments.
Right.
Which is
Yeah,
weird
it's like
because
bad.
which is weird because the show's not very right wing. It's very left wing in a sense because there's that group of demons who are basically an allegory for refugees and and what happens to them is horrific.
That's another issue I think people have with it. Not the fact that it was in there, but the fact that it was in a Devil May Cry anime.
Which is
Because Devil May Cry does not portray demons as sympathetic.
Yeah.
The only ones they do are the hybrid demons, aka Dante and Virgil.
Which I think that's one of the things they get really right in that show, the Dante. But
I guess technically as well Trish, but Trish was a demon made by Mundus, who sort of warms up to Dante throughout the first game.
But there's also it's sort of like the writing in it is very left wing. That's why I'm finding it very surprising that choice was. I feel like there's something weird going on there that I'm not quite sure what. But also, there's a ton of people who I saw said they disliked the show and then said that
The hard pivots.
and now pivots afterwards.
I saw that.
And I saw it happen the other way around. There was a bunch of people who said they liked the show, and as soon as they found that fact out, they changed their mind and said they didn't like the show.
Yeah.
You can't change your mind on that basis, mate.
Yeah, it can. It's politics.
Oh god, no, I'm so.
Everyone's biased.
This is why I'm so glad Nintendo's done that app. I'm almost close to getting off that app.
Do it.
Yeah, Twitter.
Just do it, you coward.
Yeah.
It's really still. I need a few more circumstances to happen before it's going to happen.
Really, you're on there. You're miserable. That's all you need.
Rip off the blaster.
Well, I might actually have to get rid of it because they're getting rid of DM soon.
Yep.
Yeah. What?
You know the messages.
Yeah,
That's going to go
the group
soon.
chats. Yeah.
Group chats are going to go soon.
Because Elon Musk is an idiot.
What the hell? What is the...
Look, here's the thing. Elon Musk is just getting rid of all the things that he doesn't use.
I will say the one good news is that it's
If you want a DM,
we got so many excuses to use that get ready everybody. He's about to do something stupid.
Yeah, because it basically changed it every time something that exposed him came out. He then changed it straight away. Like lights got removed, blocking got changed.
Likes have been removed.
Yeah.
Really?
So you can't view other people's likes and that.
Oh, see. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and now DMs are being changed.
Wow.
I'll tell you one the good news is though I'd say Devil May Cry does give me and Castlevania does give me hope we're going to get really good video game anime coming down the line. But I'm wondering is any of that going to come from Japanese studios?
I want to see Hades. I want a Hades.
Yes,
right now.
Hades
right
will be
now.
awesome.
Please.
But
stop.
here's the ones that
I feel like Hades will probably be a bit more episodic. Like I can kind of see that as each one being Zagreus doing a different run, helping someone on the way, then dying at the end.
I think
the thing is that the ones made by Japanese studios they tend to not be doing as well. Like Atelier Rising didn't do very well. Guilty Gear's not getting much attention right
I
now.
watched the first episode and it wasn't very good.
Nier Automata was probably the best chance they had, and that had production issues through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, it turned out really well, but it was production.
Yeah, it took so long to get there, all the hype died.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't spoken about Persona.
Well, that's because Persona really is
You
just
know
they
what?
adapt the game pretty much. And
The only one I've seen is Persona 5.
Persona
That
4,
was not a great adaptation.
Persona 4 is pretty good, but that's only because
Yeah.
it's directed by Seiji Kishi, who's one of my all-time favorite anime directors, and he does a brilliant job adapting work. Like he's the guy behind he directed Assassination Classroom.
Oh, that's class.
Just to go back to Devil May Cry quickly, because I don't think we've gushed about the villain enough.
Yeah, White Rabbit.
White Rabbit was such a good villain. Holy
Yeah.
shit, he's so good.
Yeah, to my knowledge, he's an anime exclusive, isn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
hasn't
no,
shown
he-
up in any of the games. It's and like that one episode where there's like no dialogue and it's just
Yeah.
him and Lady's backstory.
It's
Oh
the
my-
best episode.
Oh my god, it's
because
so,
there's no talking.
it is really good. Like you feel really sympathetic for him.
Yeah, it was episode 6.
Yeah.
Who's he voiced by again? Because I recognise that voice, but
It's me.
Mario.
He's not doing right there.
Characters. Oh, Enzo, he's funny.
Oh yeah, Enzo.
Kidman.
Yeah,
Enzo's
the-
funny, you know.
Yeah, when I saw Enzo in the anime, my first thought was,
Yeah.
wait a minute, he's short, he's fat, his name is Enzo. Did they just steal a character from Bayonetta?
Oh, it's Hoon Lee.
What's he done?
He was in a couple of. He's been in Devil May Cry. He's been in a couple.
What is this? Devil May Cry. So, click on it.
Click on his name.
He was also in Devilman Crybaby.
Was it?
Briefly, he does like a background voice in that.
No, it's just Devil May Cry. It's not-
Yeah, he's obviously done other works in things that are non-anime. So, but you know, because I swear I recognise his voice. Yeah, the voice cast though is pretty good because.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, who is it that voices Lady? Oh, it's Scout Taylor. Oh yeah, no, she's really not done much.
I think they got.
I wonder why.
They got very unknown cast.
He played Splinter and in TMNT 2012.
That's pretty good.
That's kind of it.
Johnny Young Bosch though, he's proper good in this role.
I said this many times before, I'll say it again, it's weird to hear the voice of Nero coming from Dante.
Yeah, because Johnny Young Bosch is the voice of Nero.
And it's going to be very weird, and I'm wondering if they ever we do get like a season 3 or 4 and Nero comes in, who's going to voice him?
No, it'll be Johnny Boss. It's like a higher pitched voice.
Or just be doing the exact same voice.
I've had a point. Get Dan Green to do it and have him do his little Yugi voice.
Yeah.
No, you get him to do his Yami voice.
The thing,
But that does raise a good point, though, Ali, you brought up. With Devil May Cry 6, what's the voice cast look like for that? If you're about both Dante and Nero in the same game, will that still be Johnny Bosch?
This is kind of my theory. This is kind of my theory. I don't think Dante's showing up. After the end of Devil May Cry 5, I think they're kind of implying that they're moving on to Nero becoming the main protagonist.
Yeah, they definitely felt like they were going when Dante and Virgil's story is done. We're moving on to something else.
Because with the Sons of Sparta storyline, I think Devil May Cry 5 is the perfect ending.
I wonder.
Like Dante and Virgil are in hell fighting each other for all eternity. How can you get better than that?
Oh, and if you're bringing back V, can you make him?
No, they're not going to bring back V.
Good,
Because V's Virgil.
yeah.
V is literally
Spoilers, Elliot!
Oh come on, the game's been out for 6 years.
I know.
Also, while we're on the subject,
Also, it's called V from Virgil.
Yeah.
also while we're on
In
the
all fairness, that was like a legit twist for me.
Oh, really?
yeah.
In all fairness, I beat the game in like 2 days. And while playing it, I was thinking, it'd be really cool if they brought out DLC where we could play as Virgil, or Virgil is in it. And then when V turned out to be Virgil, it's just like, oh shit!
No, the thing about V for me as well is he controls terrible.
You get used to him. I legit really enjoyed playing as V.
I never got used to him. I really never did.
Yeah, part thing about V I liked was that he used enemies and bosses from Devil May Cry 1 as his summons.
Yeah,
So
which I did quite like actually.
So, what do you reckon is the state of video game anime right now? Because we've had very mixed reactions to a lot of different shows.
I think they're getting better.
I think they
I
get.
think they're good when they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
That's right.
like the best one from a Japanese studio right now is Grand Blue Fantasy, and that's based on a mobile game.
I say the best one is The Adventure of Dai. personally.
And even then, I'd say they took more from the manga than they did the games.
Yeah,
on that
it's
one.
still based. That's what I mean. They do their own thing. They take an IP and they base something off it.
Again, that's what we said about Castlevania.
Castlevania did very well with that. Devil May Cry kind of did that, so they are kind of tying it into some of the storylines.
I mean, like, arguably, like, Digimon and Pokemon, like, pretty much did just fully flesh out their own things.
Yeah, the thing about Digimon though is that again, it's kind of stretching the definition a bit with that one.
We're bringing mobile games.
Is there any ones that? Okay, let's start with ones that haven't had a shot. Is there any video games you'd like to see get an anime adaptation?
There are a few I thought of for a while ago. One I would like to see. Fate Samurai Remnant.
I tell you,
is because it's based off an IP already, which is good, and the Fate Samurai Samurai Remnant is a very slept-on game with a very good story. Like, legit, it's a really damn good story.
I think Doom would be cool.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Get the guys behind Castlevania and Devil May Cry do that.
After playing a decent amount of it, I would kind of like to see an adaptation of the Cyberspace games.
Yes, that'd be good.
That would be a lot of fun.
Reese, do you have any options from you? Like, let's say things that haven't had one yet, so we'll go, because we're eventually going to move on to ones that haven't want to get a reshot like Devil May Cry.
Well, one that would take some inspiration from Amazon would be Armored Core. That's the Secret Level episodes.
Armored Core, and also the Mega Man episode. The Mega Man episode was really good in that one, and they never...
But yeah, I think Armored Core is like ripe for an anime adaptation.
I would go with, to go Nintendo, a really out there one, Smash Brothers.
No, that's because from Nintendo, the obvious one is Xenoblade.
I've just remembered one that another Nintendo anime that we forgot to mention because it never got localized over here. Animal Crossing.
I never got an anime.
That got a bunch of manga.
Yeah, but there is an actual anime movie of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Actually, fun fact: in episode 2 of A Haran-san wa Hakura Night in season 2, they did do. The episode was based around Animal Crossing, which eventually somehow changed into Yakuza. I'm not kidding. It's wild. I recommend it.
There's one, Like a Dragon. Get that in anime.
No.
Yeah.
I think Yakuza fits live action more.
Yeah, to be fair. Also,
because Yakuza is very not anime. I'd say the Ichiban saga is, but that's mostly just because of Ichiban.
Do we remember them? Yeah, very live action. The dance sequence in the hall that gets memed all the time. Yeah.
I'd love to see Sekiro get an anime.
Sekiro would be cool.
That would be kind of cool.
Bloodborne, I think, would do better with it because it's a more contained story.
No, I'd say from software, I say Elden Ring.
Yeah, I think that's
especially as we currently do have like 2 Elden Ring based manga.
Yeah, Elden Ring feels like it'd be the one that would get the treatment if it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers is one I've often thought could you do that?
No.
Well, the problem with Smash Bros. There'd be so much behind the scenes red tape with all different IPs.
Yeah, that would not be would not be doable.
Well, I'd like Nintendo to try some.
Also, not all of Smash Bros is Nintendo owned.
And also,
you have to go to a lot of other companies.
Which was my point.
Like you have to go to Disney for Sora.
And you tried to Smash. You tried to put Smash in everything. You talked about it being a Magic the Gathering.
Okay, let me.
Come on, you just want the thing with the love IP. You just want the reference series.
Okay.
You really are a fucking
Civilization. Then
you really are a fucking MCU fan, aren't you?
Okay, let's move on to another different idea. What about? I feel like Nintendo. I'd like to see them try something again. Like take one of their IP that hasn't. Like maybe something that they're not as worried whether it succeeds or fails. Like Star Fox, for example.
Again, the obvious one is Xenoblade.
Yeah.
I know Xenoblade is the obvious one, but I think Star Fox would probably do better with it.
That would fit more as a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
I bet you. No. Some of the DS games dive into some interesting themes you could turn into an anime. I'm someone who actually remembers the DS Star Fox.
Oh
games.
yeah, Star Fox Command where Crystal cheats on Fox to get rid of Wolf.
Yeah.
That's canon.
That was fucked up.
So it's canon that Fox gets cucked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
What about ones that
Thanks, Nintendo.
What about ones that I'd like to see Final Fantasy try again with an original story.
I like Bayonetta to have another go.
Yeah, Bayonetta. We never even mentioned the Bayonetta one.
That's because I haven't watched it and I know it sucks.
How about Metroid?
Yeah, Metroid never got that treatment.
Yeah, Metroid has a few mangas as well. They could always adapt if they want to do the games.
And let's be honest, those you could do a Metroid series that takes place between a couple of the games. You don't need to necessarily have that. Especially then you get away with it's not like Zelda's never going to happen. Let's be honest, because the live action films are great.
I think Zelda would be cool.
It would be cool, but It would be cool, but let's face it, a
I
live
think-
action movie is what they're committed to.
I think if they do one, they'll adapt one of the mangas. Like, I would love to see a Twilight Princess one.
Yeah, the manga of Twilight Princess is phenomenally good. I wouldn't mind if they tried Kirby again.
Yeah.
Mega Man, as I already said, that needs another go.
I would really love it if they adapted Dragon Quest XI.
That's
That's
what I'm-
that's a very good
That's
story.
a long one to adapt.
Yeah.
Yep. So they could do it.
They did 100 episodes on Dice, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
I love
What
the
about-
fact, I love the fact that they released a 100 episode series
They-
in like, you know.
Okay.
They did. They did. That's because the manga was finished, and they did it just continuously.
Okay, if they did Xenoblade, because Reese is the expert on this one,
Yep.
which one would make the best and how would the best way to do it?
The other one would be the first game because you have the massive scale of the Bionicus, the Mechonus, that would look great in animation.
I'd say with Xenoblade, honestly, I have to see them try a real original story. Like I don't know, some of them maybe like Xenoblade X, possibly.
Well, the problem with Xenoblade X is that Xenoblade X has no story.
But I mean,
And it was just bad.
But I mean, like, just something like that, like try doing an original story based within that world.
What about
Well, also with spoilers now for the definitive edition, I'm going to go on my review. They've now jerry-rigged the end of X onto the rest of the trilogy.
yeah, they kind of had to really bolt that together to make that make sense because
Yeah.
it doesn't fit in with the rest of it, especially considering
Nope.
what the ending of Xenoblade 3 is. But wouldn't mind an anime that's sort of like just as a slice of life that shows what happened after that thing, after the events of Xenoblade 3.
Yeah.
Where we do get that moment that I wanted to happen in the DLC and didn't happen.
I think that would be a one-chapter manga rather than like a full series.
The weird thing is, I think you could there's so many characters in Xenoblade now that, well, based on what happened at the end of that storyline, you could just do like a short 6-episode OVA that sort of went into different aspects of different characters from different parts of the series.
Yeah.
That would be rated very highly, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, because a lot of people said would be clamoring for the mainline entries.
Yeah.
To be anime.
And you could like have flashbacks to to anime versions of the mainline entries because it'd be very hard to adapt Xenoblade.
Well, they could adapt it. It'd just take forever. Like
God.
it'd be over 100 hours, 100 episodes.
Not
easily.
unless you did some major time skips between them,
Yeah.
which would be a terrible thing to do considering how Xenoblade's plot is just, especially the first and the third game, those plot lines are so intricately put together.
And so well paced.
Yeah. You could argue Xenoblade 3's pacing has some issues, but Xenoblade 1, the pacing in that is so good.
We just move on to talking about Xenoblade now.
Hey, that's perfect for me.
What about so we're going on Nintendo. We've done a bit of Square Enix and Capcom. What about Sega? Like,
Sega's already had plenty.
Shenmue, come on.
oh god, that terrible shit.
They've had Sonic. They've had Valkyria Chronicles.
Oh yeah.
Could we get a Halo anime? That'd be cool, I feel.
We already had one.
Really?
Yeah, Halo Chronicles. It's a series of shorts that were done about like the Animatrix.
Yeah, but not like a series. Imagine an anime version of Halo Reach. That'd be cool.
What about
I'm trying to think Konami.
well,
What
that's-
would Konami one be?
Silent Hill is the obvious option.
Well,
Except for the 3D one.
yeah, because we also did a new Yu-Gi-Oh one because you're not a proper Yu-Gi-Oh anime for years.
What about?
I mean, we had a Go Rush go only end recently.
Can
I'm
I-
pretty sure.
Yeah, that was 3 seasons of Go Rush and it was all terrible.
What about-
Because Go Rush wasn't even localized over here.
What about we had?
I mean, in all fairness, the Rush format is not very good in general.
What about?
Well, you said that a lot of people actually prefer it in the West. There are speed duels.
Yeah. What about we add to the mix? Like, there's a couple of old series that I think Sega doesn't really care about too much. They wouldn't mind maybe putting an anime adaptation to that, like Skies of Arcadia,
Panzer Dragoon.
Echo the Dolphin.
Oh! Tales of Arise. I really want a Tales of Arise anime.
So Tales has had quite a few anime in the
Yeah,
past.
it's had one for Symphonia
It also had
and
one
one
for Abyss.
for Zestria. Is that one for Zestria, right?
Yeah, it also had one for Abyss that I watched.
Yeah, but I would love if they did one of like Berseria and Arise.
I'd like
That would be
Capcom to
really
take another
cool.
shot at Monster Hunter as an anime.
Yeah, because there's been 2 very popular mangas that come off Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter Raj, which was done by the artist behind Fairy Tail who did that previously.
Oh yeah.
And then Flash Hunter was the main one. It's been like 12
What about-
Oh yeah, we also had an anime adaptation for that Pharmacia game.
Which one was that?
fairy tale.
The farming and raise monsters one.
Fairy tale.
Fun fact, it was bad.
Something that came out last year. What was it like? Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. That was based on the game.
Yeah.
I like the animation.
The game's much better.
Didn't see it.
There's I mean, obviously, the Persona ones are not ones we've got to worry about because Persona gets anime adaptations all the time because it's basically an anime turned into a game.
I'd like them to. Because pretty sure they only did a movie of Persona 3. It'd be cool if they did a series based on that game.
I think with the remake out, there's some reason behind it. I would love it if they actually went back and did Persona 1 and 2 in that style. So we actually.
Or actually, like, maybe they could do one of the SMT games. Because I don't think they've done any of them.
I think one got done, wasn't it? Like
yeah, one of them did.
Devil Trigger or whatever it's called.
Devil Trigger got done. Yes,
Yeah.
Devil Trigger got a brief adaptation, I believe.
Like, I think it would be cool to get one for Digital Devil Saga.
What? Okay, here's one for I think it would be a good closer. What do we think is the best video game anime ever?
If we're talking specifically anime and not anything done by Westerns.
Okay, I'm going to say, we'll say Western, without Western anime included and with Western anime included. With Western anime included, I'm going to go for Castlevania.
Castlevania.
Are we saying best as in the ones that we like the most?
The one we like the most.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Castlevania.
Yeah, Castlevania.
Okay, we take Western anime out of the mix.
Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai.
I'm going to go Digimon Tamers.
I mean, you're pushing it a bit with that one, but I'll say that. Right, Ripley?
She's
She's
yipping in her sleep.
She's annoyed by your decision as well.
I think she's asleep. She's dreaming.
I don't think it's pushing the definition for Digimon.
Yeah, because, especially because Digimon started off as like the virtual pair and also was a manga.
I think it counts.
Yeah.
I'll go with Persona 4, the animation. I think that one's the best one. It's really well done. How about we get, while Ren's thinking?
Yeah, go on.
Thinking. What do you think is the worst one? I mean, if we're including
Sonic X.
I'm gonna go Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Yeah, that's about, well, that's just more boring than bad.
What do you think about the Dragon Quest movie?
That was good until the ending.
That was good until the ending. Whereas Final Fantasy Spirits Within is
I
just
say it was an 8 until the end. But it brought it down to a 4.
I was so bored watching Spirits Within. I was like, it's one of the most boring films I've ever watched in my life. So
where is the proof?
Oh yes, that bloody moment.
What was that in?
That's where is the proof of that? And she actually pulls one out of the spirit out of her sort of proof. Here's your fucking proof.
Nice.
And it's not. That's the most interesting moment in that entire fucking movie. And it's like 10 minutes in.
Oh yeah, God, these got one.
Yeah. I was looking at this because on the way here, I made a list of the ones I could remember.
Wow, you really had nothing to do.
Yeah. Well, I was in the loop for like 45 minutes.
So.
Yeah, it's like Higurashi was in there. I
think Higurashi was a visual novel.
Yeah, but we're not counting visual novels for this discussion.
Well, I didn't know that on the time, did I?
I probably should have explained that beforehand. Yeah. That was my bad.
If we're including visual novels, definitely Steins Gate.
Oh no, if we're including visual novels, the best one is Clanad.
Steins Gate.
Yeah, I go Steins Gate over Clanad, personally.
I say close second would be Heaven's Feel. Face Day Night is so good.
The thing about Clanad though is with that one they actually that was one example where they weren't incredibly faithful to the visual novel. They actually did make changes and they actually improved on the source material.
Yeah.
Seriously, that is a prime example of
I mean, technically the Face Day Night adaptations had changes, but it was taking out all the eroge elements.
With the exception of Heaven's Feel.
Not all of them.
Yeah, with the exception of Heaven's Feel, but we didn't actually see anything.
No, they were very explicit.
It was just implied.
Put it this way, there's a reason I haven't purchased them on Switch yet. Put it this way, I will purchase them if they're going to be taken down from the digital storefront, so I have a copy for preservation purposes. Evasion purposes, in quotation.
Wank bank, basically.
Calvin, why is your Switch pregnant?
Cal, why's your new Switch 2 white like the OLED Joy-Cons?
Switch 2+1.
Moving swiftly on, I think we could do a whole thing all day on this one, but I think we've reached the crescendo of this one, which is that they are getting.
Red hasn't said what his best is yet.
Yeah,
my brain is dead. I can't think of them.
So I think we are at the conclusion that video game anime is starting to get better, and Ripley's dreams are getting worse. So we better go. We better go treat her well. We'll be back next month with some more anime Amigos. God knows what the subject's going to be for that one, but we'll come up with something in the meantime.
We could do 5 or 3 episodes.
Another first 3 episodes. That would be interesting.
Otherwise, we all just stare at you at the camera for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Or just wait for Alex to come up with another idea.
Because I seem to be doing all the bloody work around here.
I'm trying to
play how this house is falling apart. This marriage is ruined.
When in the year do we usually do 25 years?
That's
July.
July, okay, sure.
We need to think about what ones we're doing for that.
Yeah, the year 2000 for that one.
Y2K.
Oh yeah.
So what about okay, so hang on a second. Is it the year 2? Yeah, it is the year 2000.
Yes,
So Calvin, 2025.
2025 minus 25.
Do you even maths?
No. Doesn't make much.
So
See, and this is why Cal is in the accountant practice
we
here.
fail English.
One,
That's
it's
impossible.
What number comes after 7?
8.
He's getting it!
You sure?
Well done, Calvin. Soon enough, you'll be learning shapes.
Yay! I do that joke with my mum all the time when she says something stupid.
Yes, joke. In your case.
Moving swiftly
Yes,
on.
let's move on.
Take care, everybody.
Thank
Good
you very
night.
much for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, hey, Ripley.
It's not gone off.
Hello, baby.
I know it's not gone off.
And Cal's broke it.